Warrior Lore. Chapter 479. Fulfill Expectations. Chapter 479. Fulfill Expectations. What should be arranged had been arranged. What they could do now was just wait. Standing on the Sun Island, Shi Yin, Ouyang Luoshang, and Tang Yuan Nan wore solemn faces, looking at the expanding ghostly clouds in the sky. They knew that the two great demon kings were about to arrive. Indeed, not long after that, two figures appeared on the ghostly clouds. In just a blink of an eye, those two figures descended on the Sun Island, standing in front of Shi Yin and the others. The demon kings Qi Yin and Bo Sun, the two peak warriors of the demon area, had finally arrived at the Sun Island. Qi Yin came from the Black Scale clan, and Bo Sun came from the Dragonhorn clan. They were both 3 meters tall with hefty builds. Intimidating surging energies were rippling from their bodies. The main characters had arrived. After they had come, Qi Yin glared at Shi Yin and laughed with a surprised face. "Didn't expect you're here, too?" Bo Sun was bewildered for a while, his eye cold and gloomy. "You are the brat that heard a Mochita?" Shi Yin frowned and nodded. "It's true." "Good then," Bo Sun harumphed. "The Three Gods sect has been hiding in the sea for long. Well, this time that you dare to come out, I assumed you were tired of being alive. If the Three Gods sect surrenders, I will let you control the territory that belongs to you. But if you go against us, today, I'll erase the name of the Gods sect from the endless sea." "Stop babbling," Ouyang Luoshang said. "If you want to eradicate the Three Gods sect, let's see if the two demon kings here have good taste or not. The terrific aura that came out from the sea doesn't belong to you." Qi Yin was still cautious, observing everywhere. He seemed to be trying to find out the targets. However, he couldn't see anything abnormal. He was more surprised. Who did that? The war devil had hidden its aura, and the surging energy of its body had disappeared. Even the two great demon kings couldn't figure it out. This showed that although the war devil was just a black iron puppet, it had something special. Even the demon kings who had the third sky of spirit realm cultivation base couldn't find it, which revealed the extraordinary features of the puppet. "Who?" Shi Yin curled his lips into a smile. "You're too sensitive. There are so many things in the endless sea that you don't know of. Do you think that you could embrace everything and know every single event in the endless sea with just a flicker of your thoughts?" Although Nu Lang and the King Corpse hadn't come yet, he wasn't anxious, just babbling with the two great demon kings. The more time he could extend, the better his situation would be. Thus, he didn't hurry to take action, just waiting to see if he could talk more. No matter it was Nu Lang or the King Corpse, they all had the formidable powers. If they urged all their strength to fly there, they could arrive at the Sun Island not long afterward. If he could seize the chance, perhaps he didn't need to utilize all of his forces and just borrow the powers from Nu Lang and the King Corpse to oppress the two great demon kings. Cao Qiu Dao's in the Tuta Sea. He's always paying attention to things here. If he comes here, it's going to be tough for us then. Qi Yin was calm, as he said with frowning brows, "This battle shouldn't go on for too long." Bo Sun understood the matter well. Right after that, thick clusters of black clouds drifted over, covering the whole Sun Island in just a blink. The light at twilight couldn't pierce through those ghostly clouds. The light on the Sun Island dimmed. A huge pressure pressed down from the ghostly clouds, just like a big mountain pounding on the hearts of Shi Yan's group. When the ghostly clouds pressed down, Demon King Bo Sun took action first. Warrior Lore. He opened his mouth and spurted out ghostly spheres, each of them pitch black and carrying a rippling energy like water waves. 10 ghostly spheres lined up, forming a bizarre ghost formation. Loud impacts constantly arose from it. Under the noisy impact, some shattered structures in the Sun Island were trembling as they couldn't bear the pressure, about to collapse. The 10 ghostly spheres circled, taking in the energy of the ghostly clouds in the sky. Their size was increased from fist size to a human head size. At the same time, the rippling energy inside the spheres was vibrating magically. It seemed like they had an evil force that could seal the whole space. Boom! All of a sudden, 10 ghostly spheres burst off. Beams of ghost light spluttered out from the inside, weaving a black cocoon covering the sky over the Sun Island. The earth and heaven essence qi gathering year-round on the Sun Island seemed to be confined directly, unable to move with the wind anymore. Under that massive cocoon, the heaven and earth essence qi was dispersing, discharging from the Sun Island. Demon tribes didn't need to borrow the essence qi from earth and heaven. Bo Sun had washed away the essence qi here to prevent Shi Yin and his group from using it to enhance their strengths. The thick, ghostly clouds in the sky hindered the moonlight, sunlight, and starlight, preventing them from continually supplying to the three great martial spirits of sun, moon, and star. Next, Shi Yin took action. Both of his hands were pulling something from the void. Then, a giant demonic dragon was pulled down from the ghostly cloud. This demonic dragon was made from his energy, looked true to life, and hiding a terrifying surging energy in its body. He had pulled down 12 demonic dragons in total, each 4 of them grouped, attacking Shi Yin and the others separately. "Fight!" Shi Yin shouted. The eyes on the mysterious giant sword in his hands opened. At the same time, a strong, evil world-destroying aura gushed out from the war devil standing behind him all of a sudden. Dark halo bloomed on the black iron body of the war devil. His dark heart pounded as he extended one arm, snatching the oncoming demonic dragon. Qi Yin and Bo Sun had their eyes lit up, looking at the war devil. At this moment, no one dared to be careless watching the aura expand from the war devil. It even frightened the demon kings. The war devil stretched its arms. The dark light blinked in its palm, and a large, pitch-black hole appeared. It seemed to be able to devour all the light, and was like the most mysterious black hole in the galaxy that could even drag all the stars in. The 4 demonic dragons plunging to Shi Yin were wiggling crazily even before they could reach him. The dark hole on the war devil's palms was enlarging. Within 3 seconds, it expanded to the size of the abyss in hell, flying out from the war devil's palms like a giant mouth of a ferocious beast, swallowing the 4 demonic dragons. The 4 demonic dragons struggled in the air in an attempt to get rid of the devouring force of the dark hole. However, the more they moved, the closer to the hole they got. Eventually, the 4 demonic dragons had turned into 4 beams of dark light, disappearing into the pitch-black hole of the war devil. "What foreign thing is that?" Qi Yin discolored. Looking at the war devil, his face stiffened. Before he came here, he didn't expect to meet such a bizarre thing. It could release a tremendous aura, and it seemed to have intellect. This made him instinctively tense. "Go." Shi Yin pointed to Qi Yin, his face cold. "Use all forces to kill him." 1 year ago, Qi Yin had attached to the flesh body of Xiao Han Yi, crossing the void to enter the Sun Island. At that time, he had savaged Xia Shunchuan and killed Linda within a short period. That was a disastrous defeat. He could only open his eyes and see Xia Shunchuan and Linda get killed without being able to do anything. Qi Yin had taught him what the so-called hopelessness was. Also, after that battle, he was more determined, walking on the training path to thrive his powers. He had to make himself stronger at any cost, not wasting even a fraction of a second as he focused on his cultivation, which would enable him to take revenge one day. Today, it was the same place, the Sun Island, and the same enemy. However, today was different from 1 year ago. Today, his cultivation base was equal to the spirit realm. He had the giant mysterious sword, the king of demonic insects and the devouring gold silkworm, and the war devil. In this battle, he had to take back the humiliation he had suffered that day from the one who initiated it. The war devil acted as ordered. Its body was like a beam of dark light, appearing in front of Demon King Bo Sun in just a flash. Dark light bloomed on its black iron armor. An earth-destructing aura covered the entire Yuan Luosi from the puppet. Qi Yin wore a stony face. He couldn't help but be more cautious, pouring out all of his powers to counter the war devil. 2 dark lights intertwined above the Sun Island. Wherever they passed, land slid, and the earth split apart. Although the war devil was just a chunk of iron, its reflexes were fast as lightning, with the aura like a rainbow. Unexpectedly, it could perform all kinds of mysterious martial arts that could hardly be predicted. Under the urge of its dark heart, The dark energy on its body was torrential as it was playing hard on Qi Yin without falling into a disadvantage. Holding the giant sword, Shi Yin was calm, watching the war devil and Qi Yin fight. He cracked a cold smile while seeing mountains get leveled where the other two passed by. The war devil didn't fail him. Even Demon King Qi Yin couldn't gain the upper hand while fighting against the war devil. All kinds of earth-shaking attacks from Qi Yin were blocked by the black armor on the puppet. At the same time, the armor didn't have any signs of being cracked or broken. Quite the contrary, dark light radiating on it became more dazzling, revealing a solid cold aura. This puppet follows your orders? Bo Sun didn't take action yet. He frowned, looking at the war devil and Qi Yin fighting. Ghost light shone from his pupils like lanterns that could take people's souls away. It's true, nodded Shi Yin callously. Then I have to kill you first? A light crossed over Bo Sun's eyes as he swung his left arm. A giant white claw appeared in the sky. It was transparent like white jade, with patterns that looked like its veins where strange energy was moving. The white claw was like a mountain with its 5 fingers as 5 hooks, pressing down on Shi Yin. Chapter 480, Showing Remarkable Ability. Chapter 480, Showing Remarkable Ability. Such a good thought. The moon god Ouyang Luoshang slightly shouted. The moonlight on her body condensed into a light column in front of her. In a flash, that column turned into a moonlight armor. The armor was like the still water in the pond under the moonlight, directly impacting against the giant white claw from Bo Sun. Bang! Like a collapsing mountain, countless black and white light dots shot out, while the whole Sun Island trembled. The great sunlight cover. Sun god Tang Yuan Nan roared. The scorching solar heat turned into fiery flames, forming a blazing halo reaching to Bo Sun. Little tricks. Bo Sun harumphed. A dark green spirit snake shot out from his sleeve. The snake was icy cold as cold air emitted from its entire body. It opened the mouth and nipped at the great sunlight cover. Numerous gloomy energy waves rippled, attacking the great sunlight cover and dissolving its fiery power. Shi Yin kept his cold face, watching the moon god and the sun god taking action. But he wasn't in a hurry, just coldly staring at Bo Sun. Thick bony thorns suddenly jutted out from behind Bo Sun. Thousands of thorns combined, forming a white bone throne, on which Bo Sun sat down. Giant skulls emerged from his sleeves as countless ghosts appeared inside the skulls. They were baring their fangs and claws, releasing their evil soul attacks. Skulls lined up in the sky, turning into a massive skull that was as big as a mountain. This skull was snow-white, around hundreds of meters tall. It suddenly pounded down on Shi Yin with a malicious, ghostly aura. The soul-terminating surging spirit from the pupils of the giant skull directly aimed at Shi Yan's sea of consciousness. Shi Yin was calmer, realizing that the opponent was using soul attacks to face him. He stood still, waiting for this surging spirit to enter his body. Waves of soul-destroying soul consciousness entered his sea of consciousness like lightning. However, they got covered in flames and were burned down to ashes before they could perform their deeds. Bo Sun was trembling as a halo flickered in his eyes. Apparently, his soul consciousness was damaged. The 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame was the sharp weapon that could destroy all kinds of souls or soul consciousness. As long as it stayed hidden inside Shi Yan's sea of consciousness, he didn't need to worry about the eradicating soul consciousness. Bo Sun wasn't an exception. When Bo Sun's soul consciousness was burned down, Shi Yin suddenly remembered Tian and his friends, and his face turned strange. Only the group of Tian and Dishan knew about the existence of the 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame on his body. If Bo Sun had known about the flame, he wouldn't have been reckless in using a soul attack, leading to his soul consciousness getting damaged. Thus, he knew that Tian and Dishan hadn't disclosed his situation to Bo Sun. Since their tribes were clamped between Qi Yin and Bo Sun, Tian and Dishan had to give in. Shi Yin had been enraged at that time, but later when he thought about it, he understood they had their difficulties. 1 year ago, when he had come close to the Snow Dragon Island, the 3 of Tian Mo's group had noticed his aura. He then asked Dishan, and you wrote to warn him not to enter the Snow Dragon Island due to the presence of Bo Sun. Also, thanks to his face, Tianimo, and Dishan had discreetly released He Qing Man. These small details showed him that Dishan, Tianimo, and the others had to comply with the demon tribes because of the temporary difficulties, but they still remembered him as their old master. They didn't turn their back on him or disclose his secrets. He frowned while pondering. Shi Yin felt a little bit better when he knew that Dishan and Tianimo weren't some sorts of traitors. The knot in his heart was untied. You can erase my soul consciousness. Suddenly, Bo Sun grinned fiendishly, faced up the sky, and shouted. Even young Tian Emperor didn't have this ability that year. You're just a junior from the Yang family, but you do have peculiar abilities. Seems like I have to kill you today. If I don't irradiate you today, you will become another young Tian Emperor. Kid, you can be proud. Then, a devil bell flew out from Bo Sun's sleeve, which had many carvings of ancient demonic beasts and scriptures. Thick aura from the demon area was released, seeming to lead to a strange change in the devil aura. The devil bell soared to the sky, and the devil aura over the Sun Island started to surge violently, torrentially gathering towards it. Absorbing the devil aura, the bell gradually swelled, while the small ancient carvings on the bell became clearer. Those beasts looked ferocious, just like they were about to fly out from the devil bell. The devil bell pressed down from above Shi Yan's and the others' heads, releasing 7 layers of devil light. Each layer had the phantom of an ancient demonic beast, emanating the ominous aura of the threatening demonic beasts in the primitive era. 7 layers of devil light slowly pushed down like 7 massive boards. The phantoms of demonic beasts inside the light were showing claws and fangs, shrieking with a terrifying aura. An extremely heavy pressure covered his whole body. Shi Yin actually had a feeling of being pounded by a mountain as his body felt sluggish, unable to urge his powers. The 3 alien things, including a giant white claw, a behemoth skull, and a devil bell released by Demon King Bo Sun, appeared on the sky of the Sun Island. They were all malicious, and Ouyang Luoshang, Tang Yuan Nan, and Shi Yin couldn't help but put forth all of their powers to resist. Ouyang Luoshang was urging her moonlight armor constantly to parry the giant white claw, while Tang Yuan Nan was utilizing all of his forces to confront the massive skull. However, he seemed to be struggling powerlessly. With this situation, the skull would soon dominate him. As Ouyang Luoshang saw Tang Yuan Nan unable to endure any longer, in the void, she used the moonlight to condense a moonlight sacred sword, distracting her mind to control it to aid Tang Yuan Nan. She could only prevent the skull from killing Tang Yuan Nan for a short time. The giant white claw and the massive skull forced the moon god and the sun god to urge all of their powers to counter. No matter what, Demon King Bo Sun was a strong warrior at the 3rd sky of Spirit Realm, who was the tyrant of the demon area for years. His powers were truly sky-piercing and earth-splitting, worth the name of the most ferocious slaughter in this world. Although moon god Ouyang Luoshang had the moonlight accumulated for thousands of years, she was at the 1st sky of Spirit Realm only. When joining hands with Tang Yuan Nan, they could only resist half of the power of Bo Sun. They weren't free to care about that devil bell. As the 7 layers of devil light were pressing down, the pressure it brought had suffocated Shi Yin. Without the powers of the 3 living beings, he was afraid that his knees would go soft. Perhaps he would be pushed face down on the ground and be unable to get on his feet again. I got this devil bell and the unbounded devil blade from the chaotic basin of the space. Recently, I haven't encountered many strong characters that were worth using them against. It's your fortune to die under this bell. Bo Sun exaggerated, his face arrogant. Apparently, he didn't consider Shi Yin his match. The devil light from the devil bell slowly pushed down, as the heavy pressure kept increasing. Under such circumstances, Shi Yin still kept calm, not hurrying to make any counterattack while he kept pouring more energy into the mysterious giant sword. This sword could slash a slit on the unbounded devil blade, and could break a sacred-level treasure within one strike. It was absolutely one of the god-level secret treasures that existed in this world. Although he hardly utilized all of the sharp powers of this sword, He believed that it did have the power to fight once with Bo Sun's Devil Bell. But he should not hurry. He needed to accumulate powers sufficiently to bring out the best of the sword in this battle. The Devil Light was still pushing down, but Shi Yin stood still, crazily pouring energy into the giant sword. The closed eyes opened one by one, and by now, half of the eyes on the giant sword were opened. All of a sudden, Shi Yin felt fatigue. This was the sign of consuming too much power. "It's now," he shouted, as all of his spirit, qi, and energy gathered at one point, jumping into the giant sword. A destructive aura burst out from the mysterious giant sword. The giant sword pierced to the void, directly towards the devil light released by the Devil Bell. Red eyes blinked on the giant sword, while the wild, evil, destructive aura was activated brutally on the giant sword. It drew a long, bloody rainbow in the air, slashing directly on the devil light. Rumbling, rumbling, rumbling. The rumbling noises echoed from the devil light. The phantoms of ancient demonic beasts were dissolved into countless light dots that shot everywhere on the Sun Island. 5 out of 7 layers of devil light emitted from the Devil Bell were torn apart. The remaining 2 layers still pressed down, just like they had to kill Shi Yin at any cost. Still not enough power. Shi Yin sighed inside. He knew that if he could gather enough energy, he could open all the eyes on the giant sword, and that would boost the power of the mysterious sword to double. If he had done that, he believed that he could have broken the Devil Bell with only one slash. Unfortunately, even if he had borrowed the external forces, he could hardly control the giant sword wholly and couldn't bring out its best. Seeing the 2 remaining layers of devil light pressing down, he couldn't help but watch them since he had already urged too much energy and couldn't mobilize more at this moment. Right at this moment, a roar came up from the seawater. At that point, people could only see a colossal trident carrying a humongous amount of seawater shooting towards the Devil Bell. As the trident emerged from the sea, a sharp aura covered the entire Sun Island all of a sudden. The explosive sound was created when the trident jabbed at the Devil Bell. Countless phantoms of ancient demonic beasts on the bell faded somehow. Also, the 2 devil light layers pushing down on Shi Yin were scattered when the bell got hit. Seeing the trident, Shi Yin was shaken. He knew that the peerless warrior of the sea tribes had come. "Who the hell are you?" Bo Sun discolored, looking at the hefty man slowly emerging from the sea. Nu Lang, the patriarch of the Black Flood Dragon clan. Bo Sun was scared as he shouted, "What does it matter to you? Your sea tribes are also bullied by the human race. Why you want to help humans?" "I'm not going to help the humans. I only aid Shi Yin himself." Nu Lang wore a calm face as he nodded at Shi Yin. "Facing those demon tribes, will our agreement still work?" Shi Yin smiled and nodded. "Of course." Chapter 481. Corpse Mount, Corpse C. Chapter 481. Corpse Mount, Corpse C. Underscore. As Nu Lang arrived, Shi Yan's danger was relieved. Both of them were at the 3rd sky of Spirit Realm, so Nu Lang shouldn't bear much loss fighting against Bo Sun. At his debut, he had smashed the devil light emitted by the evil bell, which obliterated the threat Shi Yin was facing. Shi Yin seized the chance and gathered the power in his body to ensure the energy his body needed. Demon King Bo Sun got mad, his roar reverberating the whole Sun Island. As they were all foreign tribes, Bo Sun assumed that Nu Lang was supposed to have the same resentment as him, and that he would treat the humans as their enemies. It was out of his expectations that Nu Lang came to help Shi Yin. Bo Sun found it hard to accept this. Human race is always hostile to alien races. The sea tribes are also alien races to them. They've oppressed you for thousands of years. At present, the human race is in danger. I don't need your help here. As long as you play cool and don't poke your nose in it, I can subdue the spirit of the human race. From now on, you sea tribes won't need to worry about humans taking action against you. Why don't you want it?" Bo Sun's face was filled with a murderous aura, while cold light sparkled in his eyes. He appeared to be annoyed. Nu Lang wore a faint appearance, frowned and said coldly, "I've told you. I come here to aid Shi Yin. It doesn't mean that I want to cooperate with the human race." For this kid, Bo Sun sneered. What can he offer you? What makes you cover him like this? He can give me something you can't. Nu Lang's eyes became burning. Just with a thought of the life original fluid, which would guide his steps to the true God realm, he couldn't hold his excitement. He'd been yearning for the true God realm for a really long time. From the day he had entered the spirit realm, he'd held the hope that he could enter this realm one day. Hundreds of years had passed while he always focused and tried his best for this goal. After he entered the third sky of spirit realm, he thought about it day and night, in the hope that he could break through soon. Shi Yan's life original fluid was magical. To him, it was the encounter he was dreaming about desperately. Compared to the life original fluid, the future of the endless sea was nothing. As long as he could reach the true God realm, even if Nu Lang didn't swaggeringly invade the great sea areas of the endless sea, his existence would be enough to shake anybody there. In the future, he could even take the sea tribes out of the endless sea, heading to a vaster world. Only the true God realm could help him achieve the wonderful future that he hadn't dared to dream of before. What did he offer you? Bo Sun's face was cold. What he can give you, I can too. You can't. Nu Lang shook his head and smiled. Stop talking nonsense. If you want to touch Shi Yan, forgive me, fella, but I won't just stand and stare. I came here from the seabed to protect him, to ensure that he would have not even a single wound. So, you're determined to protect him? True. Bo Sun grinned fiendishly and roared, then don't blame me for showing no mercy. I want to see the peerless techniques of the sea tribes. Then, Bo Sun opened his mouth, spurting out a devil light which was immediately absorbed by the devil bell. A soul-oppressing sound echoed from the bell from time to time. It looked like many demon gods had been revived from the antiquity time. These disorderly waves of wild, ghostly sounds seemed to drag people into the demon area, enchant them, and keep them from staying conscious. At the same time, Bo Sun soared up from his white bone throne as sharp beams of light shot out from his 5 fingers. These beams shot over and intruded the giant bone claw and the skull in the sky, which made the surging energy on these 2 colossuses more intimidating. Bo Sun had urged all of his powers, yet Nu Lang wasn't afraid. He flung the trident in his hand. Suddenly, dozens of transparent water monsters jutted out from the sea around the area. They had a serpentine shape and were condensed from the seawater. They were towering the area like sky pillars, emitting the intent domain of the ocean, accommodating everything. The 10 water monsters were like the flickering candles in the wind, rocketing from the sea and striking towards the giant white bone claw and the skull. Abruptly, all of the terrifying surging energy and the ghostly cloud above the Sun Island were smashed broken. The barrier that confined the earth and heaven essence chi had vanished into thin air. These 10 towering water monsters swayed, fighting with the bone claw and the skull. Nu Lang turned himself into a strong wave, holding the trident to battle with Bo Sun. Wind and cloud discolored while the earth and firmament darkened. Furious surging energy tore the space, making the heaven and earth forces in the Sun Island change, radiating a brilliant light. Tsunamis constantly raged in the surrounding area. The air was extruded while making a strange hissing noise. Wherever these beams of light crossed, they left deep holes in the land, which looked really exaggerated. As Nu Lang had arrived, not only did he release Shi Yan, but also freed Ouyang Luoshang and Tang Yuan Nan. The giant white bone claw and the skull were aimed at Nu Lang only, not having more tricks to deal with the other 2. This gave them time to breathe and recovered the energy that they had consumed. What did this boy do to have Nu Lang's protection? Tang Yuan Nan was suspicious, walking to him. He forced a smile. I have found that I can't understand you lately. Nu Lang's really extraordinary. His fame as the #1 warrior of the sea tribes is real. Ouyang Luoshang exclaimed slightly, then said again, Bo Sun has a subtle, mysterious powers. The rumor's true, though. I used to think that I had absorbed the moonlight for 1,000 years, which should enable me to deal with Bo Sun without falling into a disadvantage. But today, I know that if Bo Sun urges all of his powers, I'm no match for him. Bo Sun's been famous for years. Of course, he isn't a typical person. Tang Yuan looked solemn. In the endless sea, only Cao Qiu Dao, Yang Tian Emperor, and Yang Yi Tian have the power to battle with him. Besides them, the others could only hold it for a certain period. It's impossible to gain the upper hand from the two great demon kings. How about the king corpse? Shi Yin was bewildered for a while and then asked. One corpse king isn't the demon king's opponent. Tang Yuan mused as if he was considering, then said, anyway, if the two king corpses join hands, they would be able to deal with one demon king. His face went shocked, looking at Shi Yin. Hey, I heard that one of the king corpses gained his intellect and his well-being thanks to the relationship with you. Is it true? Smiling and nodding, Shi Yin didn't want to conceal. Yeah, a freak combination of factors. I don't know what happened, but I do have a subtle soul connection with the king corpse. Haha, it's weird for me too. I didn't expect that I could vaguely sense the aura of the king corpse from this far distance. Since the two king corpses have gained their intellect and consciousness of their beings, they became so dangerous. They've taken the corpse god sect and snatched the tyrant role of Qing Ming. Tang Yuan was more serious. You should pay attention. The powers of the king corpses have been enhanced thoroughly. When dealing with them, don't be careless. Harumph. Do you really think that we're the same as humans? Right at this moment, a sharp voice arose from the sea. A coffin flew up from the water. Standing on the coffin was a hairy king corpse with sharp hands. He was looking at Tang Yuan with brutish eyes. Under his attentive gaze, Tang Yuan was embarrassed, clasped his fist, and greeted. I spoke thoughtlessly. Another coffin appeared from the cloud. Another king corpse stood there as the coffin was slowly descending. King corpses could use the powers of the 5 elements even if they were in the sky or underground. Nothing was beyond their ability. The seawater in the endless sea was also one of their sharp weapons. As the two king corpses arrived, they all heard what Tang Yuan said and were staring at him wickedly. The king corpse in the sky had calm eyes, looking more human. He was the king corpse that had the direct connection with Shi Yin. After he landed, he smiled amicably at Shi Yin. Although the smile on his hairy face was horrible, everybody could see his goodwill. Thanks for coming, Shi Yin smiled to them and said in a friendly manner. This matter has nothing to do with you guys. Without you, we would still be the slaves of the 3 gods sect, never having a chance to make a turn. The king corpse from the sky beamed a smile. We appreciate you a lot. The aura on your body's something we like, too. You gave us a big favor, so we should pay you back. It's what we should do. The other king corpse didn't have a human face. He still looked pretty brute, his eyes callous. He seemed unable to control his emotions well. However, he was calm, looking at Shi Yin with curiosity. A strange light flashed in his eyes. I'm called Corpse Mount, and he's called Corpse C. Corpse C hasn't gained full consciousness yet, so he can't control himself well. We need you to help him a bit. The king corpse Shi Yin pointed at himself to introduce his name, and then introduced the other. This was the first time the king corpses introduced their names to the others. Shi Yin was surprised for a while. He didn't expect that these two king corpses would have names. Corpse Mount and Corpse C, odd names. Anyway, they weren't human, so it was already good if they could name themselves. One shouldn't ask for more. The same way? Shi Yin pondered, frowned, and asked. Corpse Mount nodded, yes, that way. He then shifted his look to Corpse C. Don't worry. His method's good for us. You just need to feel it. Apparently, Corpse Mount was the boss. Under his comforting words, Corpse C nodded simple-heartedly. His brutal, bloodthirsty eyes foolishly looked at Shi Yin. Shi Yin's mind was struck. Under the other's look, he unexpectedly had the thought of slaughtering. Forcefully pressing down the dark desire in this mind, he came to Corpse C. Next, he urged the energy in his body, condensed a life seal, and put it on Corpse C's chest. 7 layers of the seal piled up, disappearing into Corpse C in just a blink of an eye. Strange light expanded all over his body. The chaotic thoughts in Corpse C's brain were stabilized by the help of the life seal, becoming magically tranquil. Corpse C's bloodthirsty eyes gradually calmed down. The aura of death on his body was also diluted to a great extent. This gave people a human-like feeling, really magical. Tang Yuan-nan and Ouyang Luoshang were stunned on watching the scene. What kind of a martial technique is that? Tang Yuan-nan let out a sigh. This doesn't belong to the three-god sect, neither the Yang family. Kid, where did you learn it? Shi Yin smiled but didn't answer, just kept quiet, looking at the change in Corpse C. Chapter 482, Wind and Clouds Discolor. Chapter 482, Wind and Clouds Discolor. After Corpse C got the life seal, he was like an enraged beast turning into a nice lamb. The life seal was changing his body, adjusting his chaotic conscious and waking him from the realm of insanity. If a beast could calm down and reason with human intellect, its intimidating features would be enhanced incredibly. Everybody knew that. Corpse C's change made Tang Yuan-nan and Ouyang Luoshang astounded. The life seal Shi Yin had performed was mysterious beyond anything they had ever seen before. This sort of a martial technique didn't belong to the three-god sect, neither the Yangs. This shocked and frightened the two a lot. As for the doubts of these two, Shi Yin didn't want to explain. He just smiled and watched Corpse C. Corpse C restored his calmness not long after that, becoming like Corpse Mount. His wild eyes had the trace of excitement he had just been familiar with. Next, he glanced at Corpse Mount, nodded to him, and then shifted his look to Shi Yin, his eyes grateful. Thank you. Corpse C spoke up in human language. Shi Yin was shaken and burst out laughing. Good then. Seems you've successfully changed your fate. From now on, you can separate yourself from your fellows. You're smarter and more conscious than them now, and know how to communicate with humans. I think your future will be brighter, not as simple as what you have now. The 10,000 years old king corpses, Corpse Mount and Corpse C, had their eyes brightened with blooming light. What can we help you with? Asked Corpse Mount all of a sudden. Shi Yin looked at the battle between Bo Sun and Nu Lang. His face darkened. I heard that Bo Sun used to visit your corpse god sect. He had talked to you guys. Yeah, he's a dangerous fella. Last time, Corpse C and I had to join forces to somehow resist him. Corpse Mount rose up as the fierce fighting will emitted from his whole body. He seemed to want to join Nu Lang in fighting Bo Sun to take revenge. As Shi Yin sensed the change of the aura on his body, he curled his lips. I hope you can deal with him. He pointed at Bo Sun. The two king corpses nodded simultaneously. They didn't wait for Shi Yin's order and turned into two brilliant beams of light, striking directly towards Bo Sun. The king corpses hovered in the air, as five-element powers vehemently spread out from their bodies. The light of the metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elements radiated from them, turning into brilliant five-element halos, which could seal and lock any creatures, shooting directly towards Bo Sun. When Bo Sun fought with Nu Lang alone, their powers were equal, and no one could gain the upper hand from the other. But since the two king corpses had joined their battle, Bo Sun received double the pressure. He couldn't help but urge all of his tricks to defend. The giant white bone claw, the skull, and the devil bell were retrieved to surround him, continually releasing devil halos to prevent Nu Lang and the king corpses from getting close to him. Bo Sun was really strong, but Nu Lang and the king corpse weren't weak either. The combined force of the three of them had completely stopped Bo Sun, clamping him and pushing him into a difficult situation. On the other side, the War Devil was entangling with Demon King Qi Yin. The black iron body of War Devil had no flaws. Any martial techniques or magical powers struck on the War Devil couldn't really hurt him. The War Devil knew how to utilize all kinds of deep understanding abilities of his body. While he was taking action, darkness covered everything. Usually, black holes appeared on his body that swallowed everything, including a big part of Qi Yan's power. This made Qi Yin no threat for him at all. War Devil alone was pushing Qi Yin into difficulty, while the latter was trying to use many kinds of different powers to find something that could deprive the fighting ability of the War Devil. However, he made no progress after a long while. The War Devil not only had the inexplicably strong body, but a strange, magical soul, which had the features of a black hole. It could swallow all kinds of soul energies that Qi Yin released. Qi Yan's soul attacks fell into the war devil's body like a stone falling into the vast sea, making a small ripple before disappearing forever. The two great demon kings arrived at the Sun Island to destroy the sun, moon, star gods. But War Devil, Nu Lang, and the king corpses were hindering them, forcing them to defend in the Sun Island without a chance to break out. The energy of heaven and earth changed greatly while earth-shaking forces impacted on the Sun Island. This alarmed many strong warriors of the crowded Endless Sea. Snow Dragon Island. A white bone clone hiding deep inside the Snow Dragon Mountain seemed to receive the summon from its master. It flew out from the mountain, heading to the Sun Island. Demon Tribe's hotshots, including Emochi Ta, saw the white bone clone leaving. They were all pale, reluctant for a while before taking out their secret treasures and following the white bone clone to the Sun Island. What's happening? Fear flooded Yuro's charming face. She was staring stunningly at the white bone clone of Bo Sun. She mused before finally speaking up. Bo Sun must have encountered strong enemies out there. Otherwise, he wouldn't summon his white bone clone. In the Endless Sea, only Cao Qiu Dao and young Tian have the powers to trouble Bo Sun. Is he fighting with Cao Qiu Dao? This has nothing to do with us. Dishan held an indifferent face, not caring about Bo Sun's life. We came out from the chasm battlefield not to be limited in the Endless Sea. Our ancestors came from the divine Great Land. Bo Sun can't bring the Wings clan a bright and prosperous future. You still think about him. A trace of confusion appeared on Yuro's face. She sighed, then gently shook her head. He had left the Endless Sea 1 year ago. We have no news from him since. Sigh, if the situation didn't force us, we wouldn't be like this. I wonder if he would bear a grudge against us. I've made the oath that as long as he doesn't die, he'll be my master, Dishan said solemnly. The one who could bring us out of the abandoned place, the one who has the bloodline of the immortal God King. According to our ancestors' teachings, he's our master. Although the situation has forced us, and we had to depend on Bo Sun to save our races from extinction, we have never treated Bo Sun as our master. If Bo Sun dies, we're freed from the demon tribes, never to be controlled again. Our master's extraordinary. Yuro smiled and nodded in agreement. We don't know where he's been during 1 year. Although we're dependent on the demon tribes, we didn't do anything to betray him. I hope he would forgive us. Whether he forgives us or not, he's still our master. What we can do in the future is to beg for his forgiveness. Dishan was stubborn. We should wait patiently. Sooner or later, we will return back to our master. It's our ancestors' will. It should have some meanings there. Only when the Wings clan follow our master can we have a better future. The demon tribes had abandoned us that year, making us get confined for so many years in the abandoned place. Even though we're back in the Grace mainland, we still remember that lesson. As Yuro heard him talking about the old stories, she nodded. I hope that one day, our fortunate master can enter the realm strong enough to lead the Wings clan back to our ancestors' land, taking back what belongs to us. I believe our master can do that. It shouldn't take long. In 10 years max, I think master can have the power to fight against Bo Sun. Dishan was certain, talking again arrogantly. Give me 30 years more and I'm sure I can break through the third sky of spirit realm. At that time, even if our master doesn't come to us, we still have the powers to leave the demon tribes. Yuro's eyes brightened. How about the demonic sound clan? Etianimo and the others aren't stupid. They should know about the deep meaning in our predecessors' wills. Perhaps they're like us. We're all waiting for the right time. I hope so. Kiara Sea, Immortal Island. The island that once belonged to a family was now flooded with dark, cold yin. Countless dark dwellers from the underworld were walking back and forth on the Immortal Island, using some mysterious method to convert the earth and heaven essence Qi into dark yin Qi, suitable for their cultivation. This was a big project that needed countless materials to form the most well-known firmament dark transfer array of the underworld. They had to use the water of the Netherworld River and pour it onto the Immortal Island. Besides, they needed an innumerable number of spirits from resentful souls. If they wanted to move the firmament dark transfer array completely, it would take around 100 years. The Dark Dwellers had started the preparation work. Today was the time of the array's crucial change. The three great Yama kings of the underworld had gathered, urging their supernatural powers to carry out the first cycle of the change. The light at twilight was hindered by the dark Qi, unable to pierce through to the immortal island. The three Yama kings stood in a triangle in the middle of the island. They were condensing the dark Qi. However, when the first cycle had just begun, the three Yama king all sensed an inexplicable change in the heaven and earth's energy. The Dark Dwellers were good at using soul senses. The three Yama kings exchanged looks, then stopped their moves, starting to trace the subtle change in heaven and earth to find where the anomalous event that had happened. Not long afterward, all the three Yama kings paled, jolting up from their spot. A strange change comes from Yuanluo, the Sun Island of the Three Gods sect. Demon Qi's surging there. It's obvious that Bo Sun and Qi Yin are fighting with strong warriors there. This fight is so fierce. Perhaps it would turn the whole situation of the endless sea upside down. We shouldn't linger. We must use the fastest pace to get there. If we're late, I'm afraid it would be pretty hard for us to live in peace in endless sea. Go. The three Yama kings exchanged thoughts, then simultaneously turned into a bunch of lights, shooting towards the Sun Island of the Three Gods sect. At the same time, Yang Tian and Xia Qingho in the Vault of Heaven Sea area also noticed the strange change of the heaven and earth. They all left their cultivating places. Undersea, Yin Hui received the message from an elder of the Black Flood Dragon clan. He then departed from the Silver Shark clan, heading to the Sun Island. Strange things happening on the Sun Island had shaken all the hotshots of the endless sea on land and underwater. As the earth-shaking battle progressed on the Sun Island, many warriors were on their ways to the island. The entire endless sea was burning. Chapter 483, Cao Qiu Dao. Chapter 483, Cao Qiu Dao. Yuanluo, the Sun Island. A great fight that was worth being written down in the history was happening like a raging fire, and its participants were all the true peak realm warriors of the endless sea. Bo Sun, Qi Yin, Nu Lang, the king corpses, the sun god and moon god of the Three Gods sect, and the new face of the endless sea, Shi Yin. Hotshots of the endless sea gathered. Not only that, an innumerable number of strong warriors on the land and undersea came there using their secret treasures or the teleporting formation, or any other means that could bring them there as fast as possible, after they sensed the strange change in heaven and earth. Many people knew that this battle would turn the impasse of the endless sea upside down. Perhaps, after this battle, the endless sea's destiny would be determined ultimately. On the island, Shi Yin was recovering his powers silently while holding the mysterious giant sword, watching the fights between the two demon kings and the others. He held his vigilance discreetly. Cao Qiu Dao should be here soon. From Yuanluo, the Cao family's island was further than the Corpse God sect. That's why Cao Qiu Dao couldn't arrive as fast as the king corpses. Anyway, Cao Qiu Dao was a true hotshot of the endless sea. If he flew at his full speed, he could arrive the Sun Island not long after that. Shi Yin was lingering and hadn't taken action because Cao Qiu Dao hadn't come yet. He was still guarding against this real master from the Chaos, who had his name famous in the endless sea for so many years. He had killed Zui Yufeng not long before this event. If he were Cao Qiu Dao, of course, he wouldn't have spared his life. If such a hotshot was hiding away, waiting for a chance to ambush him, he was afraid that he would be dead before he could make any reaction. Thus, he didn't dare to join the battle, just cautiously being on the alert. Here he comes. The moon god suddenly sighed, looking at the general direction of the Tuda Sea. Moonlight in her body suddenly condensed. Tang Yuan Nan seemed like he was about to encounter the archenemy. The name of Cao Qiu Dao had been famous for so many years on the Endless Sea. The power of the Cao family in Endless Sea was so tremendous. No one on the Endless Sea dared to look down on Cao Qiu Dao, or knew what this martial art addict would do. A faint light appeared from far away. At first, it was like the light of a firefly, not bright, but really flickering. However, after 3 seconds, that faint light bloomed like a flame. Seconds later, that halo could even cover the sky and hinder the earth. Unexpectedly, it made the dark qi above the sun island disperse. Inside the brilliant halo, an old man with senile, gloomy face slowly appeared. He was wearing a simple green warrior clothing. His gray hair were tied into a chignon, and his eyes bright. He didn't appear to be a good-looking man, with flashy and fierce markings, or any precious accessories. There was nothing majestic about Cao Qiu Dao's appearance. Quite the contrary, he looked more like an average old man. Without his bright pupils, many people couldn't imagine that such an appearance belonged to the famous Cao Qiu Dao in the Endless Sea. Tang Yuannan's face was solemn. He clasped his fist to greet Cao Qiu Dao before the old man descended to the island.
Master Cao.
Ouyang Luoshang was standing in the air, not moving an inch. She seemed to be seriously assessing Cao Qiu Dao. As she had sealed herself for 1,000 years inside a meteorite, she was much older than the latter. Although her current competence wasn't as strong as his, she wouldn't humble her status to fawn over this hotshot from the Cao family. "Hello, Cult Master Yang," Cao Qiu Dao nodded. His face was calm while the light in his eyes dimmed. After exchanging greetings with Tang Yuannan, he immediately shifted to the earth-shaking fight on the Sun Island while frowning. As his eyes caught the sight of the war devil, he couldn't even hide his surprise. He was dumbstruck for a while before he started to search for the target. His eyes eventually stopped at Shi Yin. "You've brought this black iron puppet out of the Antiquity Lofty Dragon Graveyard? He killed Zui Yufeng?" Shi Yin wore a cold face as he snorted and then nodded.
Yes.
"Not bad, kid," Cao Qiu Dao nodded. "When I was at your age, I had just the cultivation base of Earth Realm. You're now at the Sky Realm, and can even borrow the external forces to reach the Spirit Realm. Not bad, really. Young Tian Emperor does have a good fortune. I admire him for this aspect." Shi Yan's countenance still darkened, not choosing to answer him. He didn't get the real purpose of Cao Qiu Dao. However, with Nu Lang, the King Corpses, Tang Yuannan, and Ouyang Luoshang were all here, together with the level 8 demonic beast king of demonic insects and the devouring gold silkworm on his shoulders. If he needed to fight the old man, and the latter didn't ambush him, Shi Yin didn't worry much. As they saw Cao Qiu Dao arrive, Qi Yin, Bo Sun, and Nu Lang became more cautious, even though they were in the middle of the battle. Everybody knew of Cao Qiu Dao's competence. If he took action and joined one side, the other side wouldn't be comfortable. His presence would change the whole picture. Thus, everybody was saving their strength to deal with him in case he decided to join any side. Qi Yin was also careful. Under the wanton bombarding of the war devil, he revealed his dangerous features. Different from Bo Sun and Nu Lang, the puppet didn't care who Cao Qiu Dao was. Shi Yin had ordered him to urge his full force to deal with Qi Yin, so he only remembered this, maliciously attacking the other without leaving him a leeway. His brutal, wild attacks aimed to kill Qi Yin, forcing him to pay full attention to their battle. "Master Cao, the main enemies of the Endless are certainly the Dark Dwellers and the Demon Dwellers. If we don't erase these two great foreign tribes, all the Endless Sea's warriors would be killed or enslaved. Master Cao does consider the whole picture. I guess you get it well. Don't bury the future of the Endless Sea because of some personal grudge." Tang Yuannan was a bit hurried, trying to persuade the other painstakingly. Ouyang Luoshang remained silent, but she was secretly alert in case the others suddenly ambushed them. "Of course I know who are the main enemies." Under the attentive looks of Shi Yin and the other two, Cao Qiu Dao arched the corner of his brows. He mused, looking at Demon King Bo Sun. Bo Sun started to reveal his reluctant defense under the besiege of Nu Lang and the two king corpses. When his eyes met Cao Qiu Dao's eyes, he revealed a serious face for the first time, snorted and said, "Cao Qiu Dao, your men were killed, but you don't plan to take revenge. Are you going to help your enemy to deal with me? You should know that I come here this time to kill Shi Yin. You and I have the same target. It's better to unite and kill this brat first. We will solve the business between us then." Cao Qiu Dao kept silent and didn't say anything. If Shi Yin won't die today, in the future, even if the demon dwellers have to leave the Endless Sea, The whole situation of the sea won't turn as you expected. That brat can even get Nu Lang involved. Men like him don't care about rules. Later, when he enters the spirit realm, with his potential, he will replace the overlord positions of yours and Yang Yi Tian's. Bo Sun continued his advice. As long as he lives, he's the biggest threat to you and Yang Yi Tian. I didn't think that this demon king could be so wordy. Cao Qiu Dao frowned, remained unmoved. As the dark dwellers and the demon dwellers dare to invade the endless sea, you should have thought about your defeat one day. Yeah, I think today is that day, the day your two tribes are doomed. Bo Sun, you shouldn't have let your real body come here. If you were still in the demon area, even if you were besieged, you could have used the advantage of the demon area to flee deliberately. But it's not that easy in this endless sea. Then, an amethyst sword flew out from Cao Qiu Dao's sleeve, purple light radiating from it. Beams of purple light were everywhere, drifting away all of the ghostly clouds. A vicious current was generated in the middle of the purple clouds, with mirages of beautiful, glorious fairylands appearing in them. In the mirages that could quiet down people's minds, the hostile aura was strengthened strangely. Wilted, yellow leaves fell piece after piece from the purple clouds. They were made from condensed energy, which was thick like a shower and sharp like swords. The torrential dark chi on the Sun Island was diluted vastly when the leaves fell. They disappeared from the sky over the Sun Island at the speed that naked eye could observe. The amethyst sword moved slowly. In the purple halo, a vicious current locked on Bo Sun, slowly approaching him. The heavy, vicious aura flooded the endless sea, gradually gathering on Cao Qiu Dao's body. His aura became chilling to the bone. Moreover, it was getting more intimidating over time. Boom boom. Thunderclap arose in the void, and lightning danced. The halo created by the amethyst sword had unexpectedly driven the strange change in heaven and earth. Inside the lightning, Cao Qiu Dao's figure was fading away gradually, until he completely disappeared. The aura on his body suddenly became invisible. It seemed like he had never come here. No one could use his soul consciousness to detect his location. Shi Yin, Tang Yuannan, and Ouying Luoshang were more anxious than anyone else after the old man disappeared. They released the protective halo and discreetly stayed alert. Compared to them, Bo Sun was even more agitated. Cao Qiu Dao's shadowless path was famous all over the endless sea. When he was totally out of people's sight, it was the moment he really wanted to take action. Everyone knew this. The shadowless path was the profound divine ability that Cao Qiu Dao had comprehended. Once he used it, his essence, qi, spirit, and soul would be hidden away, making him completely disappear in the world. No one could detect him in hiding. Sometimes, his opponents got killed before they realized when he took action. The most formidable feature of the shadowless path was the murderous intention, which was really magical. Many enemies of the Cao family had died unknowingly. In some cases, they were killed while cultivating. Until they died, they didn't know that Cao Qiu Dao was there to kill them. The shadowless path helped Cao Qiu Dao swagger in the endless sea. He was the character that planted fear everywhere. Enemies of the Cao family had to live in fear every day, not knowing when and why they were killed. Perhaps it would happen when they were having lunch, when they were asleep, or even when they were talking with the others. Their deaths were sudden and without any known causes. Be careful, Tang Yuannan reminded Shi Yin with a low voice, his face solemn. He was afraid that Cao Qiu Dao's main target was Shi Yin. Chapter 484, Yang Tian Emperor. Chapter 484, Yang Tian Emperor. Shi Yin didn't dare to distract his mind, attentively watching everywhere in case Cao Qiu Dao suddenly took action. It was hard to obstruct the shadowless path. If one couldn't react at the moment Cao Qiu Dao took action, the one who was ambushed would instantly become a dead body. Although it seemed Cao Qiu Dao was aiming at Bo Sun, nobody could guess his moves. No one could be sure whether or not he was faking a strike, then shifting to kill Shi Yin instantly. The Moon God and Tang Yuannan stood guard on both sides of Shi Yin. They were all waiting in silence. Bo Sun was a bit anxious. Under the clamp of Nu Lang and the two king corpses, he fell into the disadvantaged situation already. If Cao Qiu Dao took action all of a sudden, in that short moment, he could easily get hurt. The war devil was intertwining with Qi Yin, not leaving him leeway to watch here and there. Qi Yin could hardly watch Bo Sun's back. Suddenly, a beam of light zoomed over from the east. A white bone clone was flying fast toward them. It was Bo Sun's white bone clone. Receiving Bo Sun's summon, this white bone clone had departed from the Snow Dragon Island and arrived on time to help him cope with this strenuous situation. Bo Sun had 3 white bone clones in total, each of them fabricated by extremely marvelous methods. They all had part of Bo Sun's divine abilities and some bizarre tricks. Years ago, when Xiao Hani had just arrived the Endless Sea, one of Bo Sun's white bone clone had snatched him and dragged him to the demon area. That terrifying scene still stayed in Shi Yan's memory until today. At that time, in his eyes, the white bone clones were the most dangerous existence in this world, which had unimaginable earth-shaking powers. It could even rip the barrier of the demon area off, as intimidating as a god. At that moment, he didn't dare to estimate Bo Sun's power. Xia Xian Yin used to tell him that Bo Sun was the strongest demon dweller, with the most peerless divine abilities. At that moment, a strong fighting will had erupted from him as he was dreaming of fighting with Bo Sun one day and sitting upright in front of him. Today, he did it. Swoosh! The amethyst sword hiding in the purple cloud shot out at this moment. At the same time, a brilliant, sharp beam of light appeared next to the white bone clone. At that moment, Bo Sun's white bone clone was like it got jabbed hard by a sharp weapon. The skeleton of the white bone clone was shaken disorderly, like it was about to lose its frame. Cao Qiu Dao showed himself. The amethyst sword came back to his hand. Light shadows of the sword were circling like thousands of purple lightning, as thick as a shower, covering the white bone clone. Beautiful light sparked out from the white skeleton clone. Grumbling impact rose, boiling the seawater around the Sun Island. Waiting until the countless beams of light disappeared, people concentrated their minds and watched. They realized that Cao Qiu Dao had hidden away again, and the white bone clone Bo Sun had summoned had turned multicolored, like it was smudged with ink. It now looked extremely eccentric. Boom! Bo Sun's flesh body shook as he was attacked at his back. Dark qi gushed out continually in the void. Cao Qiu Dao showed himself again behind Bo Sun, piercing Bo Sun right in the middle of his back. Nu Lang seized the change and grinned fiendishly, releasing the trident and violently striking the devil bell. The bell then turned into a beam of dark light, falling down out of everyone's sight. Cao Qiu Dao disappeared again. Bo Sun's face was gloomy. The evil light in his eyes became bright. Clearly, it seemed he was enraged. However, he suddenly spurted blood before he could take any action. Terrified expression flashed on his face for the first time. He didn't look at Nu Lang or the king corpses. His complicated eyes were gazing at the endless vast sky, where the dark qi was surging torrentially. Inside the clusters of dark qi, a strange, intimidating power burst out. Transparent bones shot out from the dark qi. Young Tian Emperor. Bo Sun cried, his face frantic. Shi Yin, Tang Yuan Nan, and Ouying Luoshang were dumbstruck, looking suspiciously to the sky. In between the clusters of dark qi, space suddenly cracked. A vague, majestic silhouette was breaking a white skeleton clone with his bare hands in the lightning-weaved space. This was the white skeleton clone Bo Sun had summoned from the 4th demon area. It was pitifully broken in the space slit before it could enter the endless sea from the demon area. That man had borrowed the chaotic, turbulent energy in the space to smash that white skeleton clone. The bones that shot out were from the skeleton of that white bone clone. From the lightning-weaved space, that majestic silhouette laughed wildly. Bo Sun, I've confined your other white bone clone in the outer territory space. You will never be able to summon it again. Then, that man tore the space slit with both hands and drilled out. He was the head of the Yang family, Yang Tian Emperor. The peerless warrior of the Endless Sea appeared again after years, having been tortured in the demon area after he had subdued 2 white skeleton clones of Bo Sun. It was like there was a tacit understanding between them, that at the moment young Tian Emperor got out from the space crack, Cao Qiu Dao retook action. The amethyst sword appeared with radiant purple halo, covering Bo Sun entirely. Nu Lang and the king corpses exchanged looks and took action together, attacking Bo Sun with their full forces. After young Tian Emperor got out of the space crack, he didn't hesitate, joining the battle right away. Young Tian Emperor came with an irresistible momentum, not caring about the layers of defense Bo Sun had arranged. He shot straight forward, breaking numerous demonic defending walls until he reached Bo Sun's true body and punched him. A heavy, overbearing punch that could block the space slit pounded on Bo Sun's head. Bo Sun had enemies both in front and behind him. As he was about to parry, the purple light had pierced from behind like sharp spears. Under the severe pain, Bo Sun hardly gathered the internal force in his body. He could only strive to get rid of the situation. The dragon horn on his head glowed, gushing out waves of crazy, fierce air to encounter young Tian Emperor's fist. Bang! It was like landslides and earthquakes were happening. Grumbling sounds reverberated the whole Yuanluo Sea, making people feel a vague pain in their eardrums. Slits of flesh and blood cracked on Bo Sun's rigid body under this punch. His body was like broken glass, looking extremely bizarre. Cao Qiu Dao, Nu Lang, and the king corpses seized the chance to storm forward together. They urged their powers, bombarding crazily on Bo Sun. After this wave of attacks, Bo Sun's flesh body had many open wounds that were bleeding badly, his bones broken. Shi Yin frowned, then sighed. Bo Sun's done? Tang Yuan nodded with a solemn face. Cao Qiu Dao, Nu Lang, the king corpses, each of them is enough to cope with him. The three forces joined hands to deal with Bo Sun, which was enough to fight with him. With young Tian Emperor's interference in midway, it's hard for him to find a way to survive. While they were talking, Bo Sun's flesh body showered out blood. He faced the sky, laughing wildly while his body cracked into fissures. Even though the demon dwellers had sturdy bodies, under so many attacks of violent forces, no one could help him. Bo Sun's body was wrecked. A dark beam of light shrank into a dot in the air the moment Bo Sun's body was killed, shooting towards the space crack, disappearing in just a blink. Soul compelling. Tang Yuan couldn't help but shout. Shi Yin wore a terrified face. At the moment his body was exploded, Bo Sun determinately condensed his soul into a smalt, leaving the flesh body and sneaking into the space crack in a flash to save his immortal soul. Although there were countless dangers inside the lightning-weaved space, which could make his soul disappear forever, it could prevent the others from chasing after him. Everybody knew that the space crack wasn't stable. Anybody who dared to get in could get both his soul and body perished. However, if his soul flew fast enough, it wouldn't be affected by the chaotic forces in the space crack. However, if the body got in together, the risk factor would increase by 10 times. Thus, even though they saw Bo Sun send his soul into the space crack at the last moment, young Tian Emperor and the others didn't continue their pursuit. They calmly looked at the crack, urging their soul consciousness to sense. Can't find him? Cao Qiu Dao closed his eyes to sense for a while, then shook his head in regret. The chaotic energies in the crack usually appear, hindering the soul sensing. If we let the soul consciousness go too far, it's hard to call it back. We'd better not to take risks. Never mind, young Tian Emperor laughed. Only Bo Sun's fled away. Even if he has divine abilities and can find a shelter in the space crack, it will take several hundreds of years to recover. At that time, perhaps you and I would have the true God realm cultivation base already. Even if he could come back, he wouldn't be a threat. Cao Qiu Dao nodded. There's one more of them. Young Tian Emperor looked at Qi Yin. He suddenly cried in surprise. Where does this black iron puppet come from? It has such tremendous powers to hold Qi Yin down. Harumph! Cao Qiu Dao frowned and said indignantly, Your young family has good fortune. Hearing him, young Tian Emperor was stunned for a while before shifting his eyes to Shi Yin. He smiled brightly. Good boy. I can't believe that after I left the Endless Sea, you can still hold the torch of the Yangs to shine on the Sea of Endless Sea. Shi Yin lifted his head, smiled and bent down to greet him. He didn't babble, just briefed. We should kill Tian first, then we'll talk? Good. Young Tian Emperor nodded cheerily, turning himself into a red light that shot towards Tian. Cao Qiu Dao also took action. Nu Lang and the king corpses didn't move. Kid, do you really need me to work here? Nu Lang snorted, somehow disgruntled. The Yangs do have a deep conspiracy, hiding inside the demon area and waiting for the best chance. When he took action, he immediately made Bo Sun leave with only a beam of soul. I think the stuff here doesn't matter to me anymore, does it? If you want something, you have to extend your hand to reach it. Kill Qian when we still have a chance. Shi Yin curled his lips. If Qian doesn't die today, he'll come to take revenge on the sea tribes soon. Yeah, I think that if you want the best for your sea tribes, you shouldn't let him leave here alive, right? Nu Lang shut his mouth and couldn't help but nod begrudgingly. You guys should help them too. Shi Yin looked at Corpse Mount and Corpse Sea. Receiving Shi Yan's order, the two 10,000-year-old king corpses from the Corpse God sect flew up again, storming towards Qian. Chapter 485. Determine Firmament and Earth. Chapter 485. Determine Firmament and Earth. Bo Sun ran away, while Qian could hardly escape his destiny. The five great warriors, War Devil, Yang Tian Emperor, Cao Qiu Dao, Nu Lang, and the King Corpse, took action together. Qian was smashed even faster than Bo Sun. The strongest energies blocked Qian's leeway, under the bombardment of which, Qian's flesh body was soon mashed to pulp. At this moment, warriors from everywhere gathered on the Sun Island. Yin Hui from the Silver Shark clan, Yang Yitian, Wu Qin, Gu Shao, Qing Ming, and the others famous characters of the Endless Sea, all came after they got the news. Now, they were gazing at the impact point of the attacking energies. Under the furious attacks from all sorts of powers, Qian's fleshy body directly exploded as expected. At the moment when his body exploded, a beam of soul flew out, following Bo Sun's way to enter the space crack. The soul of the third sky of spirit realm warriors had been trained strenuously many times, so it was hard to erase it completely. As the attackers saw Qian's soul flying out, they wanted to stop it, but realized that none of their forces worked. Don't let him go. Many voices arose above the Sun Island, but too bad that no one had the guts to waste their souls and stop the escapee. Once the soul left the body, physical attacks couldn't do anything to it. If they wanted to destroy the soul of a third sky of spirit realm warrior, they would need some warriors in the same realm, using the soul power to bind the other. Wu Qin, Gu Shao, and the others were only at the first sky of spirit realm. Of course, they didn't dare to do anything. Nu Lang participated this battle because of Shi Yin, so he wouldn't urge all of his powers. Soul fighting was dangerous. If Qian had no way to flee and wanted to die together with them, even Nu Lang couldn't swallow this. He didn't want to take any risks. Although Cao Qiu Dao and Yang Tian Emperor had the power, they didn't master soul fighting. Thus, they couldn't risk it. Yang Yitian was there, but he was also afraid that if he took action, Qian would drag him to death together. People here had wild schemes. While they were hesitant, Qian's soul was getting closer to the space crack. Seeing Qian was about to disappear into the crack, and no one seemed to want to chase after him, Shi Yin, the one no one paid attention to at this moment, suddenly moved. His host soul got out of his sea of consciousness directly. Shi Yan's host soul turned into a beam of silver light, getting near Qian in just a blink. Right at this moment, the third eye of his host soul opened. Silvery flames shot out from his third eye, covering the whole horizon in just a flash. Host soul leaves the body. Yang Tian Emperor's face slightly changed. He didn't think much and descended next to Shi Yan's body to guard him. When the host soul left the body would be left in an unconscious state. If someone ambushed him at this moment, death was his only consequence. Tang Yuan Nan and Ouyang Luoshang were alert. Nu Lang, Yin Hui, Xia Qingho, and the king corpses also noticed the subtle change. Everybody came close to him, throwing their warning eyes everywhere against those who dared to attack him. That year, you killed my grandpa Xia. my friends, and you almost took my life. Shi Yan's host soul released a thought that everyone could sense. Today, also in the Sun Island, I want to erase your soul and spirit and let them vanish into thin air. 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame. Many people couldn't help but cry with fearful faces. They all knew that no one could tame the legendary heaven flames that could destroy all souls. But now, they were witnessing it appear strangely on Earth. Yang Tian Emperor's eyes brightened like a torch. Tang Yuan and the others held their breath, concentrating their minds while looking at Shi Yan with surprise. Qi Yan's soul shivered, then flashed to escape the coverage area of the 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame. You can't hide. Blood has to be paid back with blood. Shi Yan's host soul was brilliant, sending an icy cold thought. Even if you're a demon king, I'm telling you what you're going to receive for messing with Shi Yan. Numerous silvery flames flooded out, covering Qi Yan's soul while it was running away. Under the flames of the 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame, Qi Yan's soul was burned little by little, emitting mournful cries. Everyone felt shivers running down their spines on watching this scene. Qi Yan was an illustrious demon king in the 4th demon area. He had been swaggering for so many years, a nightmare of all warriors in the endless sea. However, under the effect of the 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame, this earth-shaking demon king was burnt pathetically. This scene scared many people, as they instinctively thought that they should never go against Shi Yan. Qi Yan's soul burned in the 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame, and finally disappeared completely from this world. The ones who got burned by the 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame got both of their soul and spirit destroyed, and never had a chance to resurrect. In other words, Qi Yan was dead, completely dead. That year, when the Demon King appeared on the Sun Island, he had scared a lot of warriors to death. But today, he was brutally terminated by Shi Yan. Get back to your body quickly, Yang Tian Emperor shouted. Shi Yan's host soul trembled in the air, turning into a silver light falling from the sky. Among the warriors of the Endless Sea watching the fight, some of them did want to seize the chance and sneak in, but they were scared seeing the formation next to Shi Yan. There was Nu Lang, the #1 hotshot of the Sea Tribes, Yang Tian Emperor, the head of the Yang family, Ouyang Luoshang, the new Peak Warrior, Xia Qingho, the 2 King Corpses, Yin Hui from the Silver Shark Clan, Sun God Tang Yuan, and then the extremely intimidating Black Iron Puppet and the Level 8 Demonic Beast. This force was magnificent to the extreme. At first glance, no one dared to move, since they were afraid that their movement would be misinterpreted and the others would crush them to a pulp within seconds. In Endless Sea, no one had ever gathered so many formidable warriors at once like this, and even make them willingly guard his body. But Shi Yan did it. A young man who had spent not more than 10 years in the Endless Sea could shake the heaven and earth. With his personal potential and connections, he had gathered so many strong warriors of the Endless Sea to stand on his side. At this moment, many people started to regret as fear swelled in their hearts. The Queen of Heaven, the Emperor of Earth, Qing Ming, and Gu Shao were the warriors, who were eligible to be his match, all felt helpless all of a sudden. It wasn't that they were too weak. It was just that Shi Yan was so strong. This young man was growing up so fast that before they realized, they could only look up to him. Under the attentive looks of everybody, Shi Yan's host soul came back to his flesh body. His eyes brightened as he let out a smile. Good. Yang Tian Emperor laughed cheerily. His laughter shook the whole world as if he wanted to announce to the world that the Yang family would become the most brilliant force of the Endless Sea once again, beyond all the other forces. Yangji, long time no see. Yang Etian smiled coldly, nodding at him. According to our plan, should we deal with the Yama Kings now, eh? People gathering on the Sun Island were dumbstruck, as they didn't understand anything. Shi Yan was startled, looking suspiciously at Yang Tian Emperor. Great-grandfather, you, Cao Qiu Dao, and Yang Etian had some agreement? Leading the demon tribes to Endless Sea, seizing the chance to kill the 2 great demon kings. That's our plan. Yang Tian Emperor curled his lips. From 50 years ago, we have wanted to remove the threat from the demon tribes. We've had plans for him since a long, long time ago. When the demon kings were in the demon area, even if we urged all of our powers, it was hard to kill any demon kings. In the demon area, the powers of the demon kings are even 30% stronger than what they have here. Moreover, they could take advantage of the barrier and their arrays for hundreds of years. Even if we could defeat them, they could retreat safe and sound. Thus, only leading them to the endless sea would give them some restrictions, which would prevent them from borrowing the arrangement and the powers from the demon area. Yang Tian Emperor smiled coldly, telling everyone their earth-shaking plan under their attentive look. It turned out that Cao Qiu Dao, Yang Tian and him had never actually fought to death. Several fights they had had were just to discuss the martial techniques. After each battle, they stayed hidden, which made the others believe that they were hurt. This was to deceive the demon tribes, giving them the bait that they had the chance to enter the endless sea. Yang Tian Emperor initially intruded the demon area and got confined there by the Demon King, which was a part of their plan. The Yang family had the undying body. During the time he was imprisoned, he had used the blood of the God King, trained it with his flesh body, to make his undying body enter a further step to a deeper achievement. At the same time, every force on the sea targeted the Yang family, making them leave the sea begrudgingly. Next, those forces joined the demon tribes. Changes constantly happened, which were all in the Three's calculations, as they were using their forces to affect the whole picture of the endless sea discreetly, guiding the situation accordingly with the scenario they had planned. Gu Xiao, Qing Min, Dongfang Kuai, and Wu Qin had taken part in their plan unknowingly. Little by little, they had fallen into today's situation. When Yang Tian Emperor finished, all warriors there dropped their jaws in astonishment. The three Yama Kings are still here. We shouldn't linger. Let's take action immediately, Yang Tian urged. Cao Qiu Dao and Yang Tian Emperor nodded, looking towards the Kiara Sea. Great-grandfather, Shi Yin suddenly recalled something, screaming. What? Yang Tian Emperor smiled. Is there anything you don't understand? The Wings clan and the Demonic Sound clan are my servants. I've put them temporarily in the Dark Tribe and the Demon Tribe. Don't touch them, said Shi Yin with a dark face. Everybody was bewildered, looking at him with a disbelieving countenance. Chapter 486, Spoils of War. Chapter 486, Spoils of War. Both Qi Yan's soul and spirit perished. Bo Sun had only a beam of weak soul sneaked into the space crack. As the two demon kings had perished, the demon tribes in the endless sea were about to receive tragedies pouring over their heads. The Wings clan had joined the demon tribes, and they didn't have a backup, which meant they would become an obvious target. If Shi Yin didn't cover them, the Wings clan would go extinct. The demon tribes were done, and so were the dark tribes. As the dark tribes couldn't avoid this disaster, the Demonic Sound clan would be involved in this catastrophe soon. Whether it was the Wings clan or the Demonic Sound clan, he had rescued them from the chasm battlefield. He didn't hold any grudge against Dishan and Tian and Mo. Under the circumstances that their whole tribes would be erased, Dishan and Tian and Mo had no choice but to yield to the Dark Dwellers and the Demon Dwellers. This was because of the existence of their races, and nothing they should be ashamed of. As the warriors of the Endless Sea were about to take the once-in-a-blue-moon chance to clean up the threat from the Dark Tribes and the Demon Tribes, if Shi Yin didn't prevent them, Dishan's and Tian Mo's tribes would disappear from this world. Because of the old relationship, he had spoken for their sakes. The Wings clan and the Demonic Sound clan belong to you? Yang Tian Emperor was stunned, his eyes strange. Yes. Yang Tian Emperor grinned and nodded. Go. I have my calculations. Go. Are we going now? Yang Tian urged. Yang Tian Emperor smiled, looking towards the Kiara Sea. It's time to take back our family's territory. Then, Yang Tian Emperor, Cao Qiu Dao, and Yang Tian exchanged looks, flying together towards the Kiara Sea. That was where the Dark Dwellers stayed currently. The other warriors of the Endless Sea left on the Sun Island looked at each other with dismay. They eyed Shi Yin, then the general direction where Yang Tian Emperor and the other two disappeared. Bitter feeling gnawed their hearts. Those three had kitted all the warriors of the Endless Sea, toying them in their hands. Their plan of uprooting the demon tribes had been started dozens of years ago. Finally, they had killed 2 demon kings. When this war ended, the demon tribes would be suffering a great loss, and their men, who had entered the Endless Sea, wouldn't leave alive. The demon kings and the demon masters should be all killed, leaving the 4th demon area unoccupied. People of the Yangs that intruded the 4th demon area would have the chance to take the upper hand, or even the whole 4th demon area territory. In the history of the Grace Mainland, there were times the human race took over the demon area. However, they were the particular, infrequent circumstances. The Yang family had endured humiliation and all sorts of tribulations to set the record for a vast wealth like this. You guys still want to deal with me, don't you? Shi Yan's visage darkened. He grinned fiendishly at the group of Qing Ming, Gu Xiao, and Dongfang Kuai. Well, we should settle our debt, but I think it's not the good time now. What do you think? The group of Qing Ming, Gu Xiao, Dongfang Kuai changed their complexions. There were the War Devil, Nu Lang, Yin Hui, Ouyang Luoshang, Tang Yuan Nan, and the 2 king corpses standing next to Shi Yan. If this force wanted to fight with the force of the Endless Sea, even Cao Qiu Dao of the Cao family and the Yang Tian martial spirit palace couldn't deal with them at ease, let alone the group of Qing Ming, Gu Xiao, Dongfang Kuai. Hearing Shi Yan, Gu Xiao, and the others were frightened, exchanging looks, while the other warriors surrounding the Sun Island fled pathetically. Get out and enter that white skeleton clone. Waiting until the others had left, Shi Yan let out a slight shout, with his eye gazing at a white skeleton body in a gully in Sun Island. This was Bo Sun's white bone clone. It took its time to come here from the Snow Dragon Island. However, when it got to the place, Bo Sun's body exploded, and his soul sneaked into the space crack. As its master died, the spirit Bo Sun placed in the white bone clone vanished. The white skeleton clone became ownerless. The Holy Spirit God in the profound Chi halo moved, turning into a separate beam of light shooting towards the white bone clone. When he was in the Snow Dragon Island that year, he had promised the Holy Spirit God that he would find it a suitable body. It had been a long time, and now he finally found a good one. There's still a piece of Bo Sun's soul. The Holy Spirit God circled above the white skeleton clone, but didn't hurry to get in. Instead, it sent him a message. Shi Yan smiled coldly. Easy. His eyes gazed at the white bone clone, as a cluster of silvery flames came out from deep inside his eyes, getting into the white bone clone. The 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame. The flames got into the skeleton, moving around the head, and then burned the beam of Bo Sun's soul into ashes. Then, the Holy Spirit God got in. The empty sockets of the white skeleton clone suddenly sparkled with an icy light. Crack, crack. The white bone clone moved slowly. Cracking sounds echoed from its joints as the Holy Spirit God tried to control its new body. How does it feel? Smiled Shi Yan. Not bad, the Holy Spirit God said. I have never had a real body before, so I'm not used to the feeling of having a body. Yeah, I need time to fit in and see how it would be to have a body. It feels wonderful. Good, very good. Thank you. It's worth the time I've spent with you. Shi Yan nodded contentedly. It's... Nu Lang frowned, then mused. It seemed he wanted to say something, but didn't finish it. Yin Hui smiled embarrassedly. I came late and couldn't help much. Our agreement. They wanted the life original fluid. Don't worry. Wait until the Endless Sea situation steadied. I'll give it to you. I keep my words. Shi Yan's countenance turned solemn. Precursors, the situation of the Endless Sea will change in just a blink of an eye. I think we should amend the agreement between us. What? I need time to think about it. Shi Yan mused and then talked. Suddenly, he arched his brows as divine light shot out from his eyes towards the southeast of the Sun Island. A familiar aura came from the southwest of the Sun Island. It was the ghost hunter. This strange demonic beast had a spiritual connection with him. However, the time they had been on the Sun Island, it was unknown why this beast went together with Qi Yin and Bo Sun. At present, Qi Yin and Bo Sun were all dead, and the ghost hunter then revealed its aura. This surprised him. He hesitated for a while and then turned into a bunch of lights, flying towards the general direction where the ghost hunter's aura came from. The war devil followed him. Nu Lang, Yin Hui, Tang Yuan-nan, and the others were suspicious, since they didn't know why Shi Yin left hurriedly. They thought for a while and then followed him. In the southwest of the Sun Island, dark qi torrentially burst out from under the reef. The seawater was surging while ghostly smog fumed. A thorny humanoid creature was embracing something undersea, trying its best to cope with that thing's resistance. The Devil Bell? This strange secret treasure of Bo Sun had fallen into this sea. At this moment, the ghost hunter was hugging it tightly, as the bell rippled with devil light, struggling in the ghost hunter's embrace. Its power was so strong that it was constantly shaking the ghost hunter. The ghost hunter's evil, bizarre pair of eyes suddenly opened with a tremendous murderous aura. It was gazing at Shi Yin. "Long time no see." Shi Yin frowned and snorted. "Why did you go away with Qi Yin and Bo Sun? When we were at the Sky Demon Mountain Rage, I asked you to wait for me there. Why didn't you follow my words?" Inside the ghost hunter's vicious pupils, he saw two strange seals. A devilish halo sparkled from the seals, which seemed to affect its soul. All of a sudden, the ghost hunter appeared to struggle intensively to resist the seals in its pupils. Its face grimaced painfully. Bo Sun and Qi Yin had sealed his soul. "I saw this sort of seal when I was fighting with them. This seal has the evil power to tie the souls." Nu Lang was standing far from there. He frowned, looking at the ghost hunter. "This is a strange creature. He has both the dark qi and the demon qi. I've never heard of this creature anywhere. What's that?" Yin Hui and the others were curious, too. Shi Yin didn't explain, just looking at the ghost hunter while releasing his soul consciousness to peek at the beast's status. However, when his soul consciousness approached the beast, a bloodthirsty aura shot out, attempting to damage his soul consciousness. "What?" Shi Yin grinned fiendishly while his pupils shot out a silver light, darting towards the ghost hunter. When the light zoomed over, the tempered, restless ghost hunter seemed like he was stuck by a freezing spell. It stopped moving, and even its eyes turned empty. "Burn!" Shi Yin let out a low shout, using the flame of the 9 Serenity soul-devouring flame to carefully search for the soul seal in the beast's brain while avoiding touching its soul. There was a strange soul connection between Shi Yin and the ghost hunter. As the beast was putting forth everything to deal with the seal in its head, its soul didn't put up any guard, which enabled Shi Yin to enter. Not long after that, the flames searching inside the ghost hunter's soul finally found the exact location of the seal. After Bo Sun and Qi Yin died, the power of their barriers was greatly reduced. That's why the ghost hunter had the strength to resist it. Otherwise, under the restraint of the soul-tying seal, the ghost hunter didn't even have the strength to wiggle. Sizzle, sizzle. As the soul-tying seal was burned, the painful, uneasy ghost hunter restored its calmness. Shi Yin shifted his look to the Devil Bell. A silvery flame flew out from his eyes, instantly got into the Devil Bell and burned down Bo Sun's seal left inside the bell. The 9 Serenity's soul-devouring flame was magically useful in cleaning up those soul-tying seals. It was like flipping one's hand, as easy as a piece of cake. When Bo Sun's seal vanished, the bell became unowned. It didn't struggle inside the ghost hunter's embrace anymore. At this moment, the ghost hunter quietly looked at him and sent him a message, "Master." Chapter 487. Master? Chapter 487. Master? Kiara Sea, Immortal Island. The 3 Yama Kings Abi, Hades, and Tian sat neatly in the center of the island, their faces dark and gloomy. They had rushed all the way from Immortal Island to Sun Island. However, when they were about to reach the Sun Island, they found that Qi Yin and Bo Sun were killed. The 3 Yama Kings halted, then left Yuan Luo Sea. The deaths of the Demon Kings meant that the invasion plan of Endless Sea this time had failed totally. The powers of the 3 Yama Kings were 1 level lower than the Demon Kings, and their bodies were much frailier, having difficulties in using the dark weapons. As they had spent much time waiting in endless sea, they had consumed a big part of their powers. Seeing the demon kings die, the three Yama kings immediately recognized that if they still lingered in the endless sea, they would hardly be able to retreat intact. At this moment, the firmament dark transfer array had been formed primitively, but still, they had to use it. The three Yama kings cooperated, pouring their powers into the array to make a strong connection with the river of the netherworld. Countless dark beasts came out from the firmament dark transfer array, while 10,000 tons of water appeared in the center of the array. "All fellows, get in immediately," Yama King Abi shouted. Many dark dwellers lined up and jumped and disappeared into the river of the netherworld in the firmament dark transfer array. Soon, dark dwellers summoned from many islands disappeared into the river of the netherworld. The three Yama kings had to build the firmament dark transfer array in a hurry because they wanted to bring the dark chi to the endless sea to prepare for their long war. Another reason was that they could use the array to retreat from the endless sea at the critical moment. This way, they could get back to the underworld directly without transitioning through the demon area. As long as they were in the underworld, the three Yama kings would have their powers enhanced vastly. In the underworld, even if Yang Tian Emperor, Cao Qiu Dao, and Yang Tian joined hands, they would hardly gain the upper hand over the three Yama kings. In the underworld, there were so many intimidating dark beasts and magic formations. If Yang Tian Emperor and the other two dared to enter the underworld, what awaited them was an endless annoyance. As long as they could get back to the underworld, they would be safe and sound. Dark dwellers disappeared into the firmament dark transfer array continuously. Not long after that, all dark dweller in the immortal world had gotten in the array. Then, the three Yama kings stood up, exchanged looks, and released a fierce magnetic wave. When the firmament dark transfer array was about to explode, the three Yama kings turned into three beams of light, disappearing into the array. 1 hour later, Yang Tian Emperor, Cao Qiu Dao, Yang Tian, and XQ arrived at the immortal island. "We were one step late." Yang Tian Emperor shook his head, then said begrudgingly. The three great Yama kings seized the chance quickly. "I didn't expect that they would build the firmament dark transfer array first." Once they sensed the situation turning bad, they fled back to the underworld directly. "I think it's impossible to catch the Yama kings now." Cao Qiu Dao, Yang Tian, and the others also sighed. The three of them had planned for so many years to uproot the whole underworld and the three Yama kings. Unfortunately, their plan was perfect, but its implementation was not. Looking at the bursting firmament dark array, they knew that unless they reached a higher level, they could hardly take action against the Yama kings. While they were still regretting, some figures were flying towards them from the further islands. However, those figures screamed in fear before they could reach the island, then flew away using a faster speed. There the dark dwellers left behind. Cao Qiu Dao's pupils shrank. He disappeared all of a sudden. At the moment after that, the others saw the dark dwellers coming from the other island falling into the sea from the sky. They were dead even before they sank into the sea. Yang Tian and Yang Tian Emperor looked in the direction and then launched their attacks. Those dark dwellers didn't have high realms. Under the slaughter caused by the three great executioners, all those dark dwellers died. Yang Tian Emperor released his soul consciousness, covering the adjacent islands. The end of his brow arched as he teleported away. Not long after that, he reappeared on the reincarnation island of the Xia family. Tian and Mo, Kaba, and Yimeng were on the reincarnation island with frightened faces. Something big happened. Tian Mo's face was gloomy. He frowned. The firmament dark transfer array was activated. I found that the aura of the three Yama kings had completely disappeared from the endless sea. Are they going back to the underworld? Kaba was shaken. What has happened? I think a great change has happened on the endless sea. And this change made the three Yama kings know that staying in endless sea is useless now. That's why they hurried to get back to the underworld. Yimeng forced a smile. No one tells us anything. Tian and Mo wore a complicated face. Kaba and Yimeng had a cold appearance, but they were anxious inside. We're abandoned. Tian pondered for a long while, his face bitter. I've known that the Yama Kings won't remember us at the critical moment. Seems like we have no way out this time. The Yama Kings ran away, which means the Kiara Sea is about to undergo a massive purge. Is it true that our demonic Sound Clan would be eradicated soon? Ka Ba and Yi Ming were desperate, looking blankly at the sky as sorrow filled their hearts. Are you guys from the demonic Sound Clan? At this moment, a surprised voice came from above their heads. They were here. Etianimo changed his look, eyeing the figure in the sky with a cautious face. Not long after that, 3 other people appeared above the reincarnation island. Etianimo and the other 2 had strong soul power. Just with a little sensing, they felt completely desperate. They were strong warriors that the clansmen couldn't see through. Yes, it's true. We are the fellows of the demonic Sound Clan. Etianimo tried to calm down, lifted his head and answered the man. I know we're about to be doomed, but I want to know what's happened to the Endless Sea. Bo Sun and Chi Yin are dead, smiled the man coldly. The 3 of Etianmo's group were shaken as they felt powerless, knowing the event they feared the most had happened. The Demon Kings died, and the Yama Kings fled away. Where should they go? Let us die straightforwardly. Yi Ming's face was fierce. I know our demonic Sound Clan would die this time. No one can help us. If you guys come here for it, what are you waiting for? I am Yang Tian Emperor. The man who spoke up first curled his lips. Little Shi Yin said that your demonic Sound Clan belonged to him. Don't worry, no one dares to touch you. You've chosen a good master. He'll protect you. You won't be affected by this event. Etianimo and the other 2 were dumbstruck. Snow Dragon Island. The strong warriors of Endless Sea, including Wu Qin, Gu Xiao, Dongfang Kuai, the Queen of Heaven, the Emperor of Earth arrived at this island and started to kill the members of the demon tribes there. Mo Chi Ta, Xie Yin, Cinda, Alex, the 4 demon master were struggling hard under the besiege of the warriors of Endless Sea. Many warriors from the Dark Water Territory and Tuda Sea arrived, as they had received the message from their leaders. All forces came to clean up the demon tribes. Bo Sun and Chi Yin are dead. Your demon kings are over, and today is your death day. Dongfang Kuai grinned fiendishly while standing on the Snow Dragon Island, shouting loudly, "Kill!" All the members of the demon tribes became anxious and restless. The demon kings are dead? At the foot of the Dragon Snow Mountain, Di Shan shouted in fear. How could it happen? Yuro was frightened. The demon kings are dead. What should we do? Bosun wanted to kill us too. If we knew that, we wouldn't have left the chasm battlefield. At least, we could preserve our clan there. Run, take our fellows and run far away, as far as possible. I hope that we are not going to be uprooted. Di Shan's face was gloomy. It's our great culpa this time, and no one can help us. If we dare to take life-risking actions, perhaps we can turn it over. We can only run away, Yuro said sadly. I'm going to arrange it. Di Shan nodded. Should be quick. Every minute you can seize, a fellow of our clan more can survive. As Yuro was about to move, she suddenly startled, looking blankly out there, talking disbelievingly. Don't they see us, the wings race? Di Shan was stunned, watching here and there suspiciously. There was a thick jungle at the foot of the Snow Dragon Mountain. Many wooden houses of the Wings clan were built on big ancient trees there. When they recognized the change of the Snow Dragon Island, people of the Wings clan scattered in the jungle and looked at the sky with fear. Around them, so many members of the demon tribes were killed by the warriors of Endless Sea. However, no warrior of Endless Sea entered the Wings clan's territory. Even the Wings clan's members who lived near the demon tribes stayed safe and sound, while the demon tribe members next to them were killed. It seemed the Endless Sea's warriors had some problem with their eyes. They seemed not to see the members of the Wings clan. They were slaughtering the demon tribes, but sparing the Wings clan. As long as they saw the man have wings, that man became invisible in their eyes, and he could save his life from the slaughter. Why is this happening? Di Shan was astounded. Why aren't the human hotshots killing the Wings clan? I don't think humans can be that kind. What's going on? Yuro kept shaking her head. Weird. Really weird. Can somebody tell me what's going on? All members of the Wings clan must not be involved. Dishan mused for a while and then shouted, "Stay where you are. Don't move. No one takes action. We just watch." Fellows of the Wings clan wanted to help the demon tribe, but on hearing Dishan, they all stopped. At the same time, some members of the Wings clan who had been fighting with the others didn't receive attacks. They had no clue why the human warriors didn't touch the Wings clan. This kindness dazzled Dishan and Yuro, as they had a feeling that this was unreal. "Yeah, without Yin, your Wings clan would be exterminated." Dongfang Kuai snorted from the sky. "You lucky bee asterisk stars." "Master?" Dishan and Yuro exchanged confused looks, their faces stunned. Chapter 488. We'll do as you say. Chapter 488. We'll do as you say. Dishan and Yuro had never expected that Yin was their clan savior. 1 year ago, Yin disappeared from the Endless Sea, and no news about him was heard. And now, while the Endless Sea was having a great change, the leaders of the forces who used to want to kill him gave him face and spared their Wings clan. What was going on? Dishan and Yuro were suspicious, blankly looking at the change in the sky. They didn't know what made Yin become a blazing character like that. Strong warriors of the human race were still killing the demon tribes. The warriors of the demon tribes who had entered the Endless Sea together with the demon kings were struggling hard to resist, but they were all killed in the end. The Wings clan, under Dishan and Yuro's orders, didn't participate this battle, just standing and observing. After an unclear period of time, a young man appeared above the Snow Dragon Island. Nu Lang and the War Devil stood behind him. Qingming, Dongfang Kuai, Gu Zio and Wu Qin, the leaders of the Endless Sea, discolored as they saw that young man. They instinctively stayed as far from him as possible, afraid that this young man would trouble them. The Queen of Heaven, Fan Xiangyun, smiled reluctantly and explained softly, "As you've asked, we didn't touch the Wings clan." Fan Xiangyun was scared that she would enrage the young man. The rest of them were cautious and anxious at the same time. The young man observed here and there from the sky and smiled, but didn't say anything. The Queen of Heaven breathed out in relief, then blinked at Qingming and the other, signaling them to continue. Qingming, Dongfang Kuai, Gu Shao and Wu Qing then hurried to order their men to continue their slaughter. They needed to eradicate the demon tribes. Moreover, they warned their men against touching the Wings clan. Dishan and Yuro looked at the familiar figure in the sky, their faces shaken. They bent down on one knee, then lifted their heads up to greet him, "Master." Yin was floating in the sky. He frowned, mused for a while, and then descended, landing in front of the two. "Get up. We, your servants, don't dare." Dishan cocked his head, talking with a low tone. Yuro clenched her teeth, didn't say anything. "Why don't you dare?" "We don't deserve your effort." Dishan took a deep breath. When he faced up, his eyes reddened. "We deserve punishment. Please grant us that." Yuro also lifted her head up, her charming face full of guilt. "Master, it's us who weren't determined enough. Please punish us." "You did nothing wrong." Yin shook his head and sighed. "To save your races, you had to follow Bo Sun. It's all right. If you were stubborn at that time, perhaps I wouldn't have seen you now." "Yeah, so you still consider me your master now?" "Never changed." Dishan was shaken, screaming with excitement. "Although we had to count on Bo Su, in the bottom of our hearts, Master is always our master. Dishan has vowed to obey Master as long as our clan exists." Yuro blushed, then nodded determinedly. "Get up," smiled Yin. Dishan and Yuro looked at each other, hesitated for a while, then stood up. They still felt anxious. Nu Lang, Yin Hui, Tang Yuan Nan, and the others looked at the two spirit realm warriors of the Wings clan with surprise. As they saw the two of them treat Yin with much respect and compliance, they felt it somewhat inconceivable. They knew that the time Yin had demonstrated his talents wasn't long enough, and that year, Yin's realm was still low, without too many tremendous supports. However, Dishan and Yuro had recognized him as their master. Had they known of his potential at that time? Otherwise, Why were the spirit realm warriors willing to humble themselves and serve him as their master? Nu Lang and Yin Hui couldn't figure it out. Some things should be forgotten, you know? I won't keep them in mind. Shi Yin smiled coldly. When we were in the Snow Dragon Island, you guys never hurt me. You even helped me release He Qing Man. When I came near to the Snow Dragon Island, you also reminded me of Bo Sun's presence. I know that you still keep our relationship in hearts. Otherwise, I wouldn't come to Snow Dragon Island today. Dishan and Yuro were touched. They got it clear that if Shi Yin didn't come to the island today, the name of the Wings clan would have been removed from this world. Although they didn't know why Qingming and the others were scared of Shi Yin like that, they could understand that the Wings clan could avoid this culpa thanks to Shi Yin. Master has saved us again, Yuro said softly. The Wings clan memorizes your favor forever. All right, Shi Yin curled his lips. The members of the demon tribes on this island won't escape death this time. After the Holy Spirit God left the Snow Dragon Island, Heaven and Earth Chi here received a big loss. It's not suitable for you guys to stay here cultivating anymore. He paused, then continued, Yeah, you should go to Kiara Sea. I'll arrange a suitable island for your tribes. Of course, Dishan and Yuro wouldn't object him. They constantly nodded to show their agreement. Shi Yin, Tang Yuannan suddenly sighed. Although the Snow Dragon Island doesn't have thick essence chi, there are some good islands for warriors to cultivate in the Yuanluo Sea. You're the star god of our three-god sect. According to our sect's regulations, you have 1/3 of the jurisdiction. You can assign a good island for them to stay in Yuanluo Sea. Yes, you do have these benefits, Ouying Luoshang backed him up. After this event, both Tang Yuannan and Ouying Luoshang could see how tremendous Shi Yan's competence was. A person that could gather Nu Lang, Yin Hui, the King Corpses, Xia Qing Ho and Yang Tian Emperor, and even had a war devil and the king of demonic insects. In the future, he would become the peak existence of the entire endless sea. He also had the star martial spirit of the three-god sect. With this relationship, Tang Yuannan obviously wanted to make use of it well. If he could keep Shi Yin in Yuanluo Sea, the three-god sect could borrow this gust of wind to thrive faster. As long as Shi Yin nodded, the three-god sect would become one of the strongest forces in the endless sea. No thanks, Shi Yin just smiled, talking to Dishan and Yuro. Where do you want to go? Yuanluo Sea or the Kiara Sea? It's up to you. Tang Yuannan revealed his concerned face immediately. Wherever you go, we'll follow you. Dishan and Yuro expressed themselves. Shi Yin stayed silent. After a while, under the attentive looks of Nu Lang, Tang Yuannan, and the others, he cracked a smile and then instinctively looked in the general direction of the divine Great Land. After we get things settled here, I will leave Endless Sea. This place is just a stop in my journey. It's not the final destination. Everybody was shocked, looking at him. Wherever Master goes, we will follow you. Dishan was determined. Yuro nodded. All right, but not now. After I get the way, I will send someone to tell you. Shi Yin smiled. For now, you guys will go to the Kiara Sea of the Yangs. Yeah, the Yang family does not have much manpower right now. We'll need some support to steady the situation in the Kiara Sea. You guys will stay there temporarily. We'll think about the other stuff later. Dishan and Yuro nodded. Shi Yin, Tang Yuannan wore an honest face. Kid, you're the star god of our three-god sect. Don't forget that no matter what, the three-god sect walks the same way with you. We'll always be by your side. Then, Tang Yuannan darkened his face, looking at Gu Xiao, Dongfang Kuai, and the others, speaking up with low tone. If you want to deal with them, the three-god sect won't shirk back. Qingming, Gu Xiao, and their men were still watching over the movement of Shi Yan's group. When they met Tang Yuannan's cold, evil eyes, they discolored, becoming more anxious. Shi Yan looked towards Tang Yuannan's line of sight. Qingming, Gu Xiao, and the others became tenser under Shi Yan's look. The smile on the Queen of Heaven fan Xiang Yun's face deformed to turn into a forced one, revealing her anxiety. After this event, everybody recognized that the powers Shi Yin could gather were much more significant than the whole Yang family. Nu Lang and Yin Hui were the Sea tribe's representatives. Xia Qingho, Ouyang Luoshang, and the King Corps were the new prominent warriors of the Endless Sea. Besides them, Shi Yin with his external forces could reach the spirit realm. And he also had the War Devil, the king of demonic insects, and the devouring gold silkworm. With this force, he didn't need young Tian Emperor to clean up any force in the Endless Sea. The Heaven-Late Holy Land, the Yin-Yang Wonderland, the Gu family, the Dongfang family, even if they joined hands now, they could hardly withstand a tremendous threat like Shi Yin. They were terrified. Under Shi Yin's gaze, the warriors who had been swaggering around the Endless Sea for so many years had no guts left. They were trying to force ugly smiles and didn't know what to do now. Don't be nervous. There are many ways to solve the grudge between us. Shi Yin was extremely joyful, laughing out loud. Don't worry. I don't like violence. We can always solve the matters in peace. Yeah, I think you guys don't dare to violate our treaty this time. I believe that you will be content with your lot. Due to the invasion of the demon tribes, and the demonic Sound clan and the Wings clan turning their back to him, the agreement he had with Wu Qin and the other was violated by the other party. He still kept this grudge. As he had the powers enough to destroy these forces now, he didn't need to worry that the terrible history would repeat itself. Slow down, Gu Xiao forced a smile on his embarrassed face. He was the one who witnessed the intimidation of War Devil on the seabed. The deaths of Zhou Yufeng and Situ Jie had shaken him, making him know that this Gu family couldn't deal with the War Devil alone. And now, he had to be honest. How about you guys? Shi Yin laughed evilly, looking at Dongfang Kuai and the others. We'll do as you say. Dongfang Kuai cocked his head, feeling helpless. That's right. Chapter 489. New Legend. Chapter 489. New Legend. Editor, Sigma _ Half of a month later. The Endless Sea, after 2 years of having constant great changes, finally quieted down and steadied. The forces that used to attack Shi Yin couldn't help but bow their heads under the young man's powers. They had to transfer precious cultivating materials that their clans had been gathering for hundreds of years to the Immortal Island as requested. The materials those forced had brought was double the amount the Yang family had accumulated for hundreds of years. After this change, the Yangs were the ones who received the ultimate benefits, as not only they got the cultivating materials from the others, but also intruded the demon area and enslaved the demon tribes. They then started to collect the bizarre and precious cultivating materials of the demon area that had never existed in the Endless Sea. After Bo Sun and Qi Yin died, the demon area was in chaos. Demon tribes in the area engaged continuously in wars. They would never become a significant threat to the Endless Sea. One part of the Yang family was operating their deeds in the demon area while the other part took over the Kiara Sea once again. The Yang had cleaned up the evil Wonderland. One of their traders, the cult master, got killed on the spot. The Yang family and the Xia family shared the islands that belonged to the evil Wonderland. The Xia family had just become one of the most prominent forces of the Endless Sea as they were walking together with the Yang's family. Nu Lang and Yin Hui of the Sea tribes had 1 drop of the life original fluid for each. They felt delighted. Nu Lang and Yin Hui maintained their personal relationship with Shi Yin. The barren city undersea was richer and more prosperous than ever before. On the seabed, no members of the Sea tribes dared to provoke the Yangs. Nu Lang and Yin Hui had warned all of their members, making them know that the Yang family is the best ally of theirs in the future. Nu Lang was still the best warrior of the Endless Sea, and the Black Flood Dragon clan was still the strongest clan. However, Nu Lang used to admit frankly that in the Endless Sea, the most dangerous person was Cao Qiu Dao, Yang Tian Emperor or Yang Yi Tian, but the new wind Shi Yin. Nu Lang had stated clearly that one day Shi Yin was there. No tribes of the Sea tribes were allowed to raise the tide in Endless Sea. The battle on the Sun Island had changed the whole fate of the Endless Sea and even the demon area, becoming the most exciting page in the history. On that page, the name Shi Yin was prominent, more dazzling than the 3 Yang Tian Emperor, Cao Qiu Dao, and Yang Yi Tian. He became the new legend of the Endless Sea. Chiefs of the 4 great clans including Nu Lang, Yin Hui, Cao Qiu and Li Sha announced that in the sea areas, they would maintain the trading and the friendship with the Yang family. As long as Shi Yin was alive, the sea tribes would still consider the Yang family the master of Barren City. And they would never have any conspiracy in the city, as they would help the Yangs to maintain the order there. It wasn't because they were giving Yang Tian emperor face. It was because of Shi Yin. Cao Qiu Dao and Yang Tian didn't provoke them because Shi Yin had killed Zhou Yufeng and Zhong Lidan. Quite the contrary, they praised the young man as if they didn't hold grudge against him. They even ordered their members not to take revenge on Shi Yin. Three Gods sect also became harmonious with the Yangs like they had never been before. Tang Yuan Nan often came to the Immortal Island to discuss with Shi Yin about the endless sea situations. His manners were tender and humble, never considered himself his precursor but a good friend. The whole picture of the endless sea had changed Earth shockingly because of the presence of a young man. The Immortal Island. This is the Immortal Canon. The miracle effects of the immortal martial spirit and the immortal blood are written down in this canon. Yang Tian Emperor, the leader of the Yangs, smiled in the main hall of the Yang family. He drew an old book from his sleeve and threw it to Shi Yin. Shi Yin caught the immortal canon, eyeing it with a strange face. Great-grandpa, I just want to know the content of the immortal canon. You don't need to give me the whole thing. Boy, you don't know the pain in our headmaster's heart? Shura King Imo Duan Hun shook his head with a forced smile. The immortal canon is the most precious treasure of the Yangs. The headmaster handed it to you now, and don't you know what did he mean? In the hall, the two great Shura Kings Imo Duan Hun, Li Mu stood. Besides, the key persons of the Yang family like Yang Zhua and Yang Lao also appeared. They were all smiling with Shi Yin. Shi Yin was dumbstruck. Afterward, his eyes brightened. Great-grandpa, the Yang family will belong to you in the future. Yang Tian Emperor raised the corners of his mouth. I've been putting efforts for the whole life, but I could only make the Yang family one of the three outstanding forces of the Endless Sea. And you've been to Endless Sea not more than 10 years, but you've made the Yang the overlord of the whole sea. I have to say, compared to me, the head of the Yangs now, you're much more eligible to lead the Yangs than me. I'm giving you the immortal canon today, which means I'm announcing to everybody that you are the future headmaster of the Yangs. When I'm in need of secluding cultivation, you will take care of the Yangs on behalf of me. Great-grandpa, Shi Yin forced a smile. He hesitated for a while, caressing the canon, then said, Great-grandpa, I'm afraid I have to fail your expectation. Strong warriors of the Yangs were confused hearing him saying so. Why? Even Yang Tian Emperor was astounded. The head of the Yangs in the Endless Sea means the absolute power. You can take it yourself, and it's also what you deserve. Why you deny it? I want to go to the divine great land. The Endless Sea is just a stop in my journey. It's not the final destination. Shi Yan's eyes lit. I've heard lots about the mysterious, magical things about the divine great land. It's the real center of the warriors in the Grace mainland. It has the strongest warriors, the most intimidating beasts and clans. They also have the oldest martial spirit inheritance. And, all above that, Xinyan's there. Yang Tian Emperor was surprised. He was stunned for half a day before releasing a sigh. So your heart isn't here. Yeah, it's all right. With your potential, even when you're at the divine great land, your name will shock the whole world there, sooner or later. Perhaps it's your real arena. So, I just need to read the immortal canon for a while. Shi Yin smiled. I want to visit the quiet cloudland first to bring my grandfather to the Endless Sea. After that, I'll return the immortal canon to you. Yeah, no matter what, I'm from the Yangs. Even I'll be in the divine great land in the future, I always belong to the Yangs. If possible, when I'm settled down there, I hope you, great-grandfather, and the others will move to the center of the Grace mainland with me. Members of the Yang family were shaken, their faces excited. In fact, in the eyes of the people from the divine great land, we, the warriors of the Endless Sea, are just barbarians. Shi Yin Muse then decided to tell them the truth. They have the true god warriors, or the 10,000 years ancient factions. They even have more mysterious lands as their territories much bigger. It's the peak gathering of the martial path. We shouldn't be the frog sitting under its coconut shell forever. Yang Tian Emperor said with a happy face. Boy, you're stronger than I am. Mo Duan Hun and Li Mu were also amazed, looking at Shi Yin with excited eyes, just like he was hiding a lot of treasures on his body. There's no force in the endless sea able to threat the Yang family. At this moment, we should envision further, smiled Shi Yin. Everybody thought a bit, then nodded in agreement. You want to go to the quiet cloud? Yang Tian Emperor pondered for a while. It's good, though. We should thank the Shi family. Without them, we don't have you now or the glory the Yangs have today. Bloodline's something we can never deny. You go and get him here. Paused. Yang Tian Emperor then arranged. I will assign the Shura Bloodguard to go with you. We'll ride the demonic beasts, then we can bring all the members of the Shi family to Endless Sea at once. What do you think? Shi Yin nodded cheerily. It's awesome then. Go. I'll arrange this. Yang Tian Emperor raised his eyebrows, laughing. With your powers now, needless to mention the quiet cloudland, even if it's the divine great land, you can always get there at ease. Yeah, we don't need to bring many hotshots. We just need some beasts to carry more people. Yes. Yang Tian Emperor set his order. Soon, 100 Shura Bloodguard were ready to deploy from the Immortal Island. After bidding farewell to the Yang family, Shi Yin didn't linger, riding the Ghost Hunter, which was in its beast form now, heading to the quiet cloud. On the way, he passed across the Yuan Luo Sea. As Tang Yuan Nan knew he wanted to go to the quiet cloudland to pick up his family, he didn't say extra words, but assigned the Star God Guard he had appointed to ride the giant horned lion vultures of the three gods sect to go to the quiet clouds with him. Shi Yin wanted to deny, but Tang Yuan Nan was persistent. He couldn't deny the other's good deed, just nodded. Thus, he took 100 Shura Bloodguards and 80 Star God Guards, riding on the giant horned lion vultures to the quiet cloudland. On their way, warriors of the forces in Endless Sea came to him as they heard the news. Seeing him riding the Ghost Hunter leading the formation, many leaders approached him to talk and ask if he needed help. Even Yang Tian Emperor that year couldn't have this offer when he went out. In Endless Sea, no one had ever made all of the forces bow to him. Shi Yin made it with his young age. The Cyan Bloodbat and the giant horned lion vulture were the level 5 or 6 beasts. His Shura Bloodguards and the Star God Guards also had the exquisite cultivation, or at least Earth Realm and Nirvana Realm. Besides the guards, Dishan, Yuro, Etianimo, Kaba, and Yiming, the 5 great warriors of the Demonic Sound Clan and the Wings Clan, also went with him, plus the War Devil, the kings of demonic insects, the devouring gold silkworm, and the Holy Spirit God inside the Whitebone clone. This was such a powerful force that could be compared to any force of the Endless Sea. Even the Cao family hardly resisted them. Thus, when they passed by the Cao family, the Chaos was so tense and nervous as they thought that he wanted to eradicate the Chaos. They had put forth all of their defenses as if a great enemy was about to hit them. They could only breathe out in relief when Shi Yin and his men crossed over their sea territory. On a summit of a mountain covered with strange stones, a beautiful woman lifted her face, looking at the young man and his delegation, fixing her pretty eyes on him. Deep regret appeared on her exquisite face. Half a day later, she muttered, "In my whole life, the thing I regret the most is to give up to you." Chapter 490. Visit the Old Place. Chapter 490. Visit the Old Place. Blue sky hung above the vast, shoreless ocean. Wind breezed in the clear, boundless sky. Above the sea, the cyan bloodbats and the great horned lion vulture were flying fast. Shi Yin sat neatly on the Ghost Hunter, holding the immortal cannon, reading with furrowed brows. The immortal cannon described the most effective features of the immortal martial spirit and all mysterious, subtle effects of the immortal blood. After reading the immortal cannon, he knew some ways to use the immortal blood. Turns out the immortal blood could restore the damaged secret treasures as new. It could even help the demonic beasts thrive greatly. Besides, the immortal blood could predict the future of low realm warriors. Using the immortal blood and the immortal rebirth secrets, He could see the current and past of the warrior he knew. He even could vaguely know that one's life trajectory and future. Of course, it was limited. He could only perform the technique on warriors whose realms much lower than his. With Shi Yan's current Sky Realm cultivation base, if he used the immortal blood, he could see the status of the warriors at lower than the Earth Realm. However, it was more complicated to get the situation of the Nirvana warriors. If it was a warrior at his level, he couldn't use the immortal blood to investigate that one's past and present. Beside predicting things, the immortal blood still had another magical effect. With the immortal blood in his body, he could cultivate the immortal rebirth secrets. After he had mastered the secrets, later on, when engaging in battle, if his limbs got cut off, he could use the immortal rebirth secrets to grow his cut limbs back. To cultivate the immortal martial spirit to the peak, he had to know how to use the immortal blood. According to the writing in the immortal canon, at the peak realm of the immortal martial spirit, he had to change his blood. Flooding the veins with the immortal blood, using the immortal blood to replace his own blood, could bring his immortal martial spirit to the peak. At this stage, he would be complete immortal. Even if his flesh body was exploded, he could still come back to life. When young Tian Emperor had been confined by the two demon kings, he had been trained and refined by their magic formation. Later on, thanks to the immortal blood, he could recover fully. If Bo Sun and Qi Yin had the immortal martial spirit on the Sun Island, even if their bodies were smashed, they could have come back to life with the immortal martial spirit, using the immortal blood to grow a new flesh body, which wasn't much different from their original bodies. This was the most miracle effect of the immortal blood. Riding on the Ghost Hunter, studying the immortal canon for days, he had a deep understanding of the ingenious features of immortal martial spirit and his immortal blood. Eventually, he knew why the Yang family could tower the endless sea for so many years. As long as the Yangs had the immortal martial spirit, with its aid, they would be super strong in fighting. Even their bodies got hurt severely, they could always restore their health and tremendous competencies shortly. In fighting with people who had the immortal martial spirit, unless you could kill them curtly, once they could lengthen the time, you would fall into the extremely disadvantageous situation. All sorts of magical, exquisite features of the immortal blood and the immortal martial spirit were written in the immortal canon. After 1 month studying, Shi Yin had memorized all secrets of the canon. Now he was quietly cultivating the most mysterious secret of the immortal canon, the immortal rebirth secret. Several days later, when he had a deep understanding of the immortal rebirth secret, he stashed the immortal canon away, closed his eyes and meditating on the Ghost Hunter. Time flew fast. It was as short as a blink of an eye. They had left the endless sea and appeared in the sky of the quiet cloudland. Shi Yin opened his eyes, looking at the vibrant forest of the general direction of the Merchant Union, couldn't help but smile. The Shi family is there. As he was thinking about Shi Jian and Shi Tai, a joyful smile appeared on his face. Master! Dishan and Yuro came forward, calling from 5 meters away from him. Shi Yin was surprised, looking suspiciously at the two, frowning. What's up? We want to go with you to the Divine Great Land. The Wings clans and the Demonic Sound clan's homelands there. Dishan slightly cocked his head. Our homeland has many secret techniques and strange treasures which have been lost for generations. We would like to see if we can take back what belongs to us. Don't rush, Shi Yin mused, then said coldly. The Divine Great Land's much complicated than you've pictured. Warriors there are much stronger than the Endless Sea's warrior. I come there, but I won't dare to do any rash actions. I know you are uneasy. Anyway, I think you should stay in the Endless Sea for a while. It's temporary. After I got used to the situation of the Divine Great Land, I'll send someone to reach out to you. Dishan and Yuro just nodded listening to him, and they didn't say anything else. Yeah, we're about to reach the Merchant Union. You guys go prepare. We're landing on Sky Meteor City shortly. Thinking for a while, Shi Yin added, remember, don't do anything wild in the city. Follow me. Do not act rashly. Got it. You guys too. The Merchant Union now belongs to the Shi family. Don't stir things here up. Shi Yin turned around, looking at the Shura Blood Guards and the Star God Guards, giving them a curt shout. His Shura blood guards and star god guards regarded him loudly with serious complexion. Many Shura blood guards and star god guards had him like a superstar in their eyes, making him their idol. Shi Yan's name was famous, spreading out all over the endless sea. He was now even more well known than young Tian Emperor, Cao Qiu Dao, and young Tian. He had become the newest Nova that no one could oppress his halo. Being led by a character like that, the guards were both excited and proud. Cyan bloodbats and the giant horned lion vultures were fast. Not long after they had entered the airspace of the Quiet Cloud, they arrived at the Merchant Union, flying over the cities of the territory. What? Shi Yan screamed in surprise, observing the ground, his face strange. Among many cities beneath them, which belonged to the Merchant Union, as he focused on watching, he didn't see the flags of the Zhou family and the Shi family. Quite the contrary, he saw many signs of the forces of the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire. Those cities were packed with warriors of the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire. No one knew what wild schemes they had. Shi Yan released his soul consciousness. After passing through a city, his eyebrows slammed together. The Earth Realm, Disaster Realm warriors of the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire gathered in each city, just like they were the masters of the city. However, it seemed no member of the Shi family and the Zhou family appeared there. It seems something's happened to the Merchant Union. Shi Yan's face gradually darkened. Initially, in the dark magnetic noxious mist, Zhuosu and Qi Xiao had told him about the signs of the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire having a conspiracy on the Merchant Union, attempting to divide the place. Perhaps their words had come true. Since the time he had drawn Xiao Hanyi's power to clean the Baiming family, the Mo family, and the Ling family in the Merchant Union, even though the Merchant Union then belonged to the Shi family and the Zhou family, its overall force wasn't as strong as it used to be. And that's how the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire saw their chance. They constantly sent their messengers to force the Shi family and the Zhou family to submit to them and became their dependencies. Of course, Shi Jian and Zhuosu weren't happy. They tried to lengthen the time without saying yes. Thus, the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire weren't satisfied. From politeness, they gradually turned to forcing step by step. Currently, it seemed they started to take action. The Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire had some Sky Realm warriors to guard the places. The Shi family and the Zhou family could never resist their forces. If Qi Xiao weren't in the Merchant Union, the two empires would have soon taken action on them. Thoughts popped up continually in his head. Shi Yan's eyes got colder. A mocking smile hung on the corner of his mouth. If it were him that year, facing the great force of the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire, he could have been helpless watching the Merchant Union being invaded meter by meter. However, 10 years after he had entered the Endless Sea, he had reached the Sky Realm, and he had the powers that sent shivers down the Endless Sea's warriors' spines. Both of the empires had no Spirit Realm warrior. In his eyes, they were just a pack of lamb, waiting for his slaughter. If he wanted, he just needed 3 days to destroy the two empires. This was the absolute confidence that the intimidating power brought him. Speed up? Shi Yan mused for a while, then shouted. He didn't know the situation of the Merchant Union. From what he observed from the cities around, the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire were tyrannical. Perhaps they had entered the Sky Meteor City, which was dangerous to the Shi family. Since he had entered this world, people from the Shi family did care about his well-being. Shi Jian had a cold face, but his heart warm. He had personally urged Shi Yan every day, keeping track of his cultivation, giving him the martial technique of the Shirs. He had been wholeheartedly dedicated to Shi Yan. And Yang Hai, Shi Yan's father by the name, was also in the Shi family. After he shouted, he patted the ghost hunter by its neck. The ghost hunter shot out like an arrow, using its lightning speed, drawing a black light curve in the air and flying toward the Sky Meteor City. Swoosh! The ghost hunter covered in thorns appeared in the sky of the Sky Meteor City. A formidable, intimidating pressure covered the whole Sky Meteor City. Shi Yan's soul consciousness expanded to every corner of the city. He closed his eyes and sensed. Shi Yan exhaled in relief. People of the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire hadn't entered the city yet, which meant the Shi family and the Zhou family were still safe and sound. As long as all were all right at this time, with his presence, there was no force could threat the Shi family and the Zhou family in the quiet cloudland. Roar! The ghost hunter howled, echoing the whole city. All warriors of the Sky Meteor City were shaken. Some low-realm warriors got their chi disorderly, couldn't calm their minds down to restore their chi. What a dangerous beast. So scary. Who's coming anyway? The warriors of the Sky Meteor City screamed in fear, looking up at the sky with panic-stricken faces. Is that the hotshot the God-Blessed Empire and the Raging Fire Empire has invited to here? We're doomed. We're dead soon. Many warriors who knew the general situation of the Sky Meteor City were desperately sorrowful. The ghost hunter slowly flew in the general direction of the Shi family. At the moment, it was under the clamp of two forces from two sides. In addition, many small forces of the Merchant Union started to rebel. They surrendered to these two empires, which put the Shi family and the Zhou family into isolation. The two great empires didn't take action yet, as they were using the tactic of invading the Merchant Union step by step. They would put their hands on the surrounding cities first. Then, they would push over to force the Merchant Union. That's how they could take the Merchant Union without destroying it. The Medicine Valley works as a mediator. Shi Yin snorted coldly while his eyes darkened. Oh right, now that I am here, we can have a chance to uproot the rebellious small forces. Shi Yin, this time you come here. I want to bring you to the Endless Sea. The whole situation there is settled now. You don't need to worry about anything when you come there. I've arranged everything well. Shi Yin smiled and explained to them. The Endless Sea's a better place for you to cultivate. The warriors there have richer cultivating materials, much more than the Quiet Cloud. They have more hotshots with amazing martial techniques. They're one grade higher than the Quiet Cloud. The Shi family had their eyes brightened, and their faces excited. The Endless Sea, muttered Shi Dang. His mouth opened in a joyful smile. First, I'll help you guys deal with these troubles. Waving his hand, Shi Yin signaled Dishan and the others to come forward. Dishan, Yimeng, you guys take the Shura Blood Guards and the Star God Guards to the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire. Kill all the warriors whose cultivation bases are higher than the Nirvana realm. Oh, yeah. Remember to visit the Medicine Valley, too. Yes. Dishan and Yimeng bent their bodies, answering him. The Shura Blood Guards and the Star God Guards also regarded Shi Yin upon his order. Then, Dishan and Yuro took the Shura Blood Guards, while Yimeng and Kaba went with the Star God Guards. They both rode the beasts, and after they had adjusted the formation, they waited for Shi Yan's order. If there are Nirvana Realm warriors in the adjacent cities, kill them all. Shi Yin mused and then said, don't mind the warriors lower than Nirvana Realm. The bosses are the ones who have the highest realms. Just kill them. Now go. Dishan and the others put on serious expressions, then nodded to show that they understood. In just a blink, Shura Blood Guard and the Star God Guards disappeared. Shi Dang, Shi Tianling and Han Zhong dropped their jaws, their eyes wide opened. Shi Yin, the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire have the third sky of Sky Realm warriors. Shi Dang's face was complicated. Are we taking risks? Third sky of Sky Realm warriors? Shi Yin just smiled, shaking his head. Don't worry. Warriors at this realm can't even defend themselves in front of our force. What realm those people have? Shi Dang was surprised, his whole body shaken. Spirit Realm. Shi Yin curled his lips. 5 Spirit Realm warriors taking action at the same time. No need to mention the Raging Fire Empire and the God-Blessed Empire. Even if they are in the Endless Sea, how many forces could resist them? People of the Shi family was dumbfounded, looking at him like they were looking at a monster. It was just 10 years. Not only had Shi Yin reached the Sky Realm, he also could invite the 5 Spirit Realm warriors to come with him. From their attitude towards him, it seemed like he was the boss here, having the absolute power over those 5 people. It was so strange that the Shi family's members couldn't even think it through. Shi Yin smiled, but didn't attempt to explain to them. At this moment, no warrior of the quiet cloud could compare to him. The strong warriors who, in their eyes, they could never reach, were so fragile to him that he could smash them at any minute. Since the gap between their realms was too wide, communicating was actually a problem. If he told them that he could change the wind and stir the rain in the endless sea, making the warriors on the sea and on the seabed bow to respect him, he didn't know how they would think about him. Big difference indeed. You guys should prepare. After we're done, we'll be getting back to the endless sea together. Musing for a while, he then spoke up to Sherdang. There's nothing to linger or regret in the God-blessed empire. Wait until you come to Endless Sea. You'll soon find what the Merchant Union has. The Endless Sea has the same. Things that the Merchant Union doesn't have. Endless Sea has them all. Yeah, I've prepared the cultivating materials for you guys. Don't worry about that. After we get there, you'll have everything you need. Sherdang didn't know what to say. Haha. Loud laughter came from afar along with a group of warriors. Stinky boy, it's just been 10 years, and we can't even recognize you. Shijian, Tai, Zhuasu, Zhuashir, Yang Hai and the others emerged. Shijian was laughing cheerily while shouting, Brother Zhua, you're right. This kid's changed too much. As I saw the beasts pack the sky, I knew that this kid Shiyin was back. Besides him, who could make such noisy moves? Zhuasu smiled. I knew he won't forget us, and that he will come for us. Haha. Grandfather, Shiyin revealed real joy, went forward while slightly bending his body to greet them. Then, he shifted his eyes to Yang Hai. Father, this time, I come back with the hope to bring you guys to the Endless Sea. We shouldn't stay in the quiet cloud any longer. He explained his plan again. Good. Shijian replied him briefly. Since Brothers Wu told us about the rich world out there, we've prepared for our departure to the Endless Sea one day. We've been fully prepared since half a year ago. Even if you didn't come, after a while, we would have moved. If you had gone there half a year ago, entering the Endless Sea would have been risky and troublesome. Shiyin smiled. However, it's no problem now. The situation of the Endless Sea is steadied. Come with me. I'll have everything arranged sufficiently. As we're well prepared, we don't need to worry anymore. Is it true? Really? Even the cultivating materials are collected? Arg. At present, the things I don't lack the most are the medicines, pellets, ores, or crystals to cultivate. It's true that I have everything you guys may need. The others all wore a disbelieving face. Don't worry. After you get there, you'll see that I'm not lying. Things you can think about, I can always provide. Actually, you can trash away the things you have here. They aren't valuable. They didn't know what to say. Chapter 492, Proper Arrangement. Chapter 492, Proper Arrangement. The raging Fire Empire and the God-blessed Empire were swept away. Dishan, Yuro, Etianimo, Yiming, and Kaba were 5 spirit realm warriors who could withstand them in the quiet cloud. Within 5 days, the hotshots of the raging Fire Empire and the God-blessed Empire were terminated. They had no Nirvana realm warriors left now. Under the absolute power, these empires showed that how weak and fragile they were. A strong warrior himself alone could burn down many empires into ashes, and their name would disappear from the map forever. This slaughter made all the warriors of the Quiet Cloud know what was the consequence of going against the Sure family. The Quiet Cloud now had no force that dared to fight with the Sure family. Although the Sure family had left for the Endless Sea, their fame had been spread through the entire Quiet Cloud because of Shiyin. Under the Sure family's arrangement, the Sure family and the Zhua family didn't linger in the Sky Meteor City, gathering their members and leaving the Quiet Cloud together with Shiyin, heading towards the Endless Sea. During their journey, Shiyin had refined some secret treasures and given them to his relatives, in the hope that they could help the Sure family improve their strength. After he had been imparted with the memories of an excellent blacksmith, he would fabricate some toys whenever he had time. In the Endless Sea, he had asked for the cultivating materials from the other forces, so there were enough of them for him to waste as much as he pleased. This huge amount of materials had become his consumable goods, becoming the solid supply for his refining. Members of the Shi family were so joyful they even went crazy when they received the treasures. No one had expected that after just 10 years, Shi Yin had reached the Sky Realm and had even become a blacksmith. They were so surprised that they didn't know what method he had used to progress that fast during these 10 years. After 2 months, Shi Yin and his relatives arrived at the Tuda Sea. He didn't hurry to reach the Immortal Island. Shi Yin visited the corpse god sect in Tuda Sea, found the 2 king corpses and gave them 4 drops of his immortal blood to help them evolve faster. After he had formed a good friendship with the king corpses, he recognized that the king corpses had always treated him with care. King corpses were different from mankind. If they trusted someone, they would treat them the best and never plan any wild schemes against their friends. Shi Yin was happy realizing this. The immortal blood had a miraculous effect on demonic beasts and living beings with flesh entity. After the king corpses had taken in the 2 drops of immortal blood, they vaguely had a blood connection with Shi Yin. They then treated him even closer and better, just like a family member. As he was about to leave the Endless Sea, he hoped that he could arrange things in the Endless Sea properly. The king corpses had earth-shaking powers. They would become the intimidating existence in the sea area. If he had the warm support from them, even if he weren't in the Endless Sea, the Yang family would stand still Mount Taishan. No force could threaten them. After spending a couple of days at the corpse god sect, he departed again to the Immortal Island. He stopped at another stop in the Yuan Luo Sea. On the Moon Island, Tang Yuan Nan and Ouyang Luoshang received him grandly. All the elders of the 3 gods sect were present, as everybody wore a respectful face, as they considered him their star god. I return the star god guards to you, Shi Yin smiled. I want to leave the Endless Sea and visit the divine Great Land. I have something I want to make clear to you guys. Tang Yuan Nan and Ouyang Luoshang showed that they were paying the utmost attention. I've been to the dark magnetic noxious mist and got to know an old faction of the divine Great Land. Shi Yin mused, then shared the current situation. The Radiant God cult's one of the 7 old factions of the divine Great Land. They have a 10,000-year history. The Radiant God cult also has the Sun, Moon, and Star gods. They have the Flame Sun Martial Spirit, the Silver Moon Martial Spirit, and the Star God Martial Spirit. Their understanding of these martial spirits is much deeper than yours. Too precious, Tang Yuan Nan trembled, rubbing his hands embarrassedly. How we can take it? We didn't help you much. No need to help me, as long as you show your good friendship, Shi Yin smiled. Take it. This stuff will be crucial for your cultivation in the future. I do hope that you guys would enter the true God realm one day. I just hope that you would remember my favor today at that time. Tang Yuan Nan and Ouyang Luoshang nodded solemnly, taking the life original fluid. Although they didn't say anything, their visages told him many things. Yeah, I have a final request. Shi Yin smiled, looking at the moon god Ouyang Luoshang and said shyly, since I was in the Sky Meteor City, you've been covered in the moonlight. I have never seen your real appearance. I regret that. Can I have a look at your true self now? Ouyang Luoshang's tender body shivered tenderly. Under the haze moonlight, her eyes seemed bright. Cough, I have some stuff to do. Tang Yuan Nan was tactful, leaving in awkwardness. When there were only the 2 of them, Moon God asked, why are you curious about my appearance? The clear, but cold voice came from the mouth of the beautiful figure. I'm just curious. No other reason. All right. The moonlight gradually ceased. The peerless beauty that could make all living creatures fall slowly revealed from the haze. She was like a translucent crystal jade, like the moonlight that had been refined for thousands of years, dreamy and imaginary like a fairy, or a charming devil. Her beauty shook and moved all hearts. Shi Yin was stunned like a wooden rooster. That face could only appear in dreams by chance, hard to describe in mere words. So exquisite, fine to the acme. You should reveal your true face sometimes. A while later, he sighed slightly. I'm afraid that very few men in this world would not be moved by your appearance. This is earth-shaking and really rare in this world. Today, my vision has indeed been widened. Am I that pretty? Moon God curled her lips, beaming a strange smile. Guys like you are also astounded because of me? Of course, of course. Shi Yin nodded his head continually. I think all men in this world would be jealous to death of the man who has you. No man's good. Harumph. Moon God snorted, her face disdainful. Shi Yin shut his mouth and beamed a forced smile. If a guy's bad having the desire for beauty, I think all men in this world are bad guys. Have you watched enough? Moon God stiffened her face. The moonlight covered her fully once again. She spoke up with a cold attitude. If you're done, go away. Perhaps we'll meet up again in the divine great land. I hope you would truly have the spirit realm cultivation base instead of borrowing external forces at that time. I can tell you that I'll enter the second sky of spirit realm in the next half year. I expect that you, the star god, won't be lazy. Don't fail the star martial spirit in you. Shi Yin was dumbstruck. Chapter 493. Pay the favor with the body. Chapter 493. Pay the favor with the body. Shi Yin wore a bewildered face while walking to Tang Yuan Nan's reef, beaming a forced smile while shaking his head. He vaguely felt that the moon god Ouying Luoshang wasn't close to him, and she seemed to disdain him too. This made him suspicious of what she had to be arrogant. It was true that this woman's realm was high, but it was actually because of her absorption of the moonlight during her 1,000 years of being sealed. It was okay if she didn't appreciate him for giving her the drop of the life original fluid. However, getting scolded for watching her face made Shi Yin indignant. He then regretted his generous deed. How is it? Tang Yuan Nan smiled wickedly. Aren't you disappointed? Well, not bad. A world treasure. But her attitude is stinky. Shi Yin forced a smile. She scolded me for nothing. Does she have any mental problems? Haha. She thought that you've been using external forces, which is not good for your cultivation base in the future. In her eyes, only the powers of your own are eternal. If you depend on the others every time you fight, you'll be dependent, and this will hold back your cultivating progress. Tang Yuan Nan smiled and explained, she just wants the best for you. Perhaps she thought that your cultivating speed's too fast, and your foundation isn't stable. This would trouble your cultivation in the future. Although she's more than 1,000 years old, she's still a juvenile little girl. She doesn't know how to hide her feelings. You shouldn't blame her. Shi Yin still felt angry. It's my stuff. Why does she need to poke her nose in? The star martial spirit on your body came from Ouyang Ji, her elder. This is what we call love the house and its crow. Ha ha, is that love the house and its crow? Shi Yin burst out laughing, then shook his head begrudgingly. Forget it. I don't mind her. I gotta go now. Later on, if the Yangs meet trouble in Endless Sea, please give me face and aid them. With Yang Tian Emperor there, they don't need my help. You shouldn't be worried about insignificant matters, smiled Tang Yuan Nan. Human affairs are variable. Although the Yang family can make the Endless Sea be afraid of it, it doesn't mean it would last forever. Anyway, it's good if you remember my favor. Wait. Tang Yuan Nan stopped him. What else? Someone has been waiting for you for too long here. Do you want to meet that person? Shi Yan's face was suspicious. Then he asked with astonishment, who's waiting for me? The holy maiden Chu Yin Qing from the Heaven Lake Holy Land. Half a month ago, she came here, found me and asked me to introduce her to you. It seems she knew that you would pass by the three gods sect on your way back. Perhaps it's because of the star god guards you brought. This woman's mysterious, though. Tang Yuan Nan mused for a while and then said, previously, she had sent me the news that you'd killed Zhou Yufeng, Situjia, and Zhong Li Dun on the seabed. She said that you would return to the Endless Sea soon. I felt strange, too. I don't know why she wanted to hide the matter from Wu Qin and tell us the information related to you. Shi Yin was surprised. It's hard to guess women's mind. If you don't want to see her, you can leave now. I'll talk to her. Where is she? In the small island in the south of the Moon Island. That place is secluded, without any guards. She's been there for half a month, didn't go out even once. I'll go and check. Shi Yan's heart filled with doubt while he said farewell to Tang Yuan Nan and flew towards the south of the Moon Island. He found that small manor in a bamboo jungle near the shore. A charming, tender figure appeared behind the window of a 5-level bamboo house. Strange light flashed in her eyes as she was scrutinizing Shi Yin. The man frowned, getting in the room through the window. He threw the woman a glance and then said coldly, "What do you want to talk to me?" Squeak. Chu Yin-ching closed the door after Shi Yin had entered the room. She took off the mask on her face, revealing the face that could shake all living creatures. Smiling mildly, the holy maiden of the Heaven Lake Holy Land said softly, "I hope you could take me with you." "Take you with me?" Shi Yin arched his brow, cracking an eccentric smile. "How do you know I'm about to leave?" "I've heard that you've been to the dark magnetic noxious mist, and now you want to come to the divine great land. This isn't secret information, though. What's so strange to know this?" Chu Yin-ching's smile was like warm sunlight as she was leaning against the window. "I want to see the marvel of the divine great land, but I don't dare to cross the dark magnetic noxious mist. I hope you could lead the way." "You don't want to be the holy maiden of the Heaven Lake Holy Land anymore? Why do you want to go to the divine great land?" "The Heaven Lake Holy Land is nothing compared to you." Chu Yin-ching's red lips trembled as a strange expression flashed on her face. "It's just been a few years. When we were chasing after you in the chasm battlefield, you didn't even have the Nirvana realm cultivation base. But now, you've reached the second sky of Sky Realm. You even have an intimidating support. You have steadied the whole endless sea, and even my master has to consider his words when talking about you. He's afraid that you would come to the Heaven Lake Holy Land and kill us all one day. People who went against you that year are living in fear day after day like they're sleeping on pins and needles, worrying that you would find them and take revenge." "I said I let it go, so I won't revert back on my words." Shi Yin snorted and then shouted, "Do you think that everybody would be like your master regarding the agreement *T, and that he could change it at any time as he pleases?" "Of course you aren't." Chu Yin-ching smiled. "That's why I come to you. What do you want after all?" "I want to pursue stronger power. I want to see the divine great land and seek more knowledge. But the best thing is that I want to be your woman. Even being a concubine is okay." Her beautiful eyes were bright and hot, sparkling with the brilliance that mesmerized people. She was looking at him daringly. Shi Yin was shaken, his face disbelieving. "Are you crazy?" "I'm not." Chu Yin-ching took a deep breath, raising her milky white ample bosom. "In the abandoned place, you did many dirty things. You touched me, and it was the same the time you came back. You bullied me." The little beauty had her face blush, her voice fading out as she lowered her head. She didn't even dare to look at him in the eyes. "I didn't sleep with you." Shi Yin beamed a forced smile. "I just touched you a bit. Do you really need to pay back my favor with such a deed?" "You." The holy maiden suddenly lifted her head, rolling her eyes at him indignantly. "Anyway, you did bad things to me. If you don't care about me, I will announce to everybody to destroy your reputation. I will ruin you and bring shame to you." "Well, then do it. It's no harm to me. I think something trivial like this is just like a joke to amuse other people. You will be the one who bears the biggest loss." Shi Yin cracked a bizarre smile. Since she couldn't play hard, the beautiful woman switched to her soft skills. She turned into a breeze of aroma, jumping onto Shi Yan's lap, pressing her big breasts against his chest. Her red lips caressed his earlobe, whispering, "Am I not pretty? A beautiful woman like me jumps into your chest, but you aren't moved? I can promise you that as long as you want me, even if when you get married to Xia Xian Yin, I won't regret it. I'm not bad, right? Even more tender than her." Wonderful fragrance permeated the air with the beauty in his chest. Shi Yin got his masculine reaction under the attack of that generous bosom. The beauty in his lap could feel that as she giggled. "Well, and you said you didn't like me. See? Just nod. I will let you." Her voice was so seducing, as she was ready for him to do whatever he wanted with her, as if she was pitiful that Shi Yin hadn't eaten her on the spot right now. Mother *******, she delivers herself to me. Shi Yan's eye became hot. He hesitated for a while and then gritted his teeth. He grabbed the holy maiden of the Heaven Lake Holy Land, put her against the wall of the bamboo building, and started his dirty deed with the woman. Chu Yin-Qing's beautiful eyes turned hazy, moaning softly as her supple body got hotter. After I'm done with the stuff in the divine Great Land, I'll take you there. Chapter 494, The Coldest Place. Chapter 494, The Coldest Place. 1 month later, Shi Yin entered the dark magnetic noxious mist again, where no heaven and earth powers existed, and darkness covered the place year-round. He saw the familiar scenes and the unchanged magnetic field in the exotic land. Nothing in this place conformed to common sense. Islands and mountain ranges were floating in the air, moving slowly in certain trajectories. He'd been there once before, so he understood the situation. Thus, he didn't panic. After he had identified the correct direction, he flew towards the east of the dark magnetic noxious mist with a speed that was neither fast nor slow. The war devil, the ghost hunter, and the Holy Spirit God and its white bone clone were dormant inside the blood vein ring, not having even a beam of vitality. The blood vein ring was truly a god-level secret treasure. The other storage rings could only contain dead things and stuff. Meanwhile, the blood vein ring was much different, as it could generate suitable land and precise space for living beings to survive inside. It was the same for the ice-cold flame, the earth flame, the war devil, and the ghost hunter. It seemed that the ring had some rule in defiance of natural order, or it understood well some kind of principle in heaven and earth. Up till now, Shi Yin hadn't explored all the mysterious features of the blood vein ring. Anyways, he knew that this ring was the biggest support and the most mysterious secret of the whole Grace mainland that he shouldn't let anyone else know about. While crossing through the dark magnetic noxious mist, he seriously studied the immortal rebirth secret, not caring about his meals or sleep and cultivating arduously. Whenever he met the bottleneck in his cultivation, he switched to refining secret treasures, seizing the chance to moderate his mind and spirit. With this method, he achieved big progress in cultivating the immortal rebirth secret. Also, he gained a good grasp over many fascinating formations for refining tools. After he got through the dark magnetic noxious mist, his understanding of the immortal rebirth secret had taken a big leap. Now, he could use his immortal blood to see the past and the present of the Shi family. When he burned the immortal blood, he could see Shi Dang's face. However, he couldn't see Shi Dang's future using the immortal blood yet. Only if he mastered the immortal rebirth secret could he use the immortal blood to vaguely see some details about Shi Dang's future. Among the past, the present, and the future was the most unpredictable. When he reached a certain realm and a certain understanding of the immortal rebirth secret, he could do that. Spending half a year inside the dark magnetic noxious mist, he finally crossed the natural barrier between the endless sea and the divine Great Land, appearing above a deep blue sea area. Using the sun to identify the east, he continued flying. When he had departed from the endless sea, he made up his mind that unless he fell into a life-threatening situation, he would never borrow external forces. Although the external forces like the ice-cold flame, the Holy Spirit God, and the war devil could help him have the power much beyond the warriors at the same level, these forces didn't belong to him. If he got dependent on them, he would have a hard time achieving a big breakthrough in the future. What the moon god Ouying Luoshang told him had irritated him, but he couldn't deny that those were precious words indeed. The cultivation of a warrior was a rough way without a shortcut. He needed to do everything himself. If he considered using the external forces as a natural tactic, and always thought about borrowing them even when he hadn't met any deadly situation instead of using his own strength, he would gradually move towards his own decline. Then, it would eventually change his mentality, leading to his imposing will and daring spirit waning away. That's why he put the war devil, the Holy Spirit God, and the ghost hunter into the blood vein ring. He had decided that from now on, except for the cases of encountering a seriously deadly situation, he would never use them. After he had made up his mind, it seemed his confidence and will had returned to him. Later on, when he was cultivating, he found out the change of his characteristic, which was like a catalyst that could help him gain more during learning and comprehending powers. He landed after flying over the deep blue sea for half a month. It was a vast jungle without a visible boundary. Old trees jutted up, towering to the sky. It was like that year when he had descended in the gloomy, deep forest, which filled his vision completely with a green hue. The air here was fresh, and the essence chi was a little extraordinary. Crossing through this thick forest, he continued walking eastward. After another half-month, he reached a snowy mountain range. Snowflakes fluttered everywhere, and snow piled up at the summit of the mountain range. The place had an extremely low temperature that could make anyone shiver. This was a place of bitter cold. Looking at the snow-capped mountains and the unceasing fluttering snowflakes, he knew where he was. The far east of the divine Great Land, the bitter cold land, a snow mountain region covered by snow year-round. This was the west area of the Ice Emperor City, one of the 7 cities of the Fighting Union in the divine Great Land. The back garden of the Ice Emperor City had so many beasts and spirit herbs of ice class. All warriors of the Ice Emperor City considered this place their training court to whet their martial arts. The bitter cold land had nearly 100 snow mountains, hiding many ice-class cultivating materials. Only warriors of the Ice Emperor City dared to explore this place. As for other warriors of the divine Great Land, the cultivating materials of this place had little value to them. In the eyes of the old factions in the divine Great Land, the bitter cold land was worth its name. It wasn't a place suitable for warriors to cultivate, and didn't have treasures precious enough to catch the eyes of the other warriors. After crossing the bitter cold land, it was the Ice Emperor City, one of the 7 cities of the Fighting Union. This city was nearest to the dark magnetic noxious mist in the far west of the divine Great Land. This meant that when the dark magnetic noxious mist opened, this place could become more crowded. Usually, there weren't many warriors visiting the place. The Ice Emperor City among the 7 cities of the Fighting Union was the most rural area with poorest cultivating materials and weakest forces. There weren't many products here or citizens, leading to a small number of innate warriors. Thoughts continually ran through his mind, while Shi Yin was calm and deliberate. He didn't fly over the bitter cold land directly and descended from the sky. The dark magnetic noxious mist didn't have the powers from heaven and earth for him to borrow. Along the way, he had been concentrating on his arduous cultivation and refining, which drained a lot of power from him. Then, he had flown with max speed after passing the dark magnetic noxious mist without a rest stop until he reached the bitter cold land. Currently, the profound chi in his body was consumed by 70%. He needed to recover his strength to maintain his best condition. Snow mountains followed one after another. He came to a snow mountain around 3,000 meters tall, dug a cave, and got in. He took out the crystals from his storage ring and closed his eyes, starting to cultivate. Time flew by. He opened his eyes, letting his soul consciousness sense his body. As he felt the profound chi fill his body, he smiled and got up to continue his journey through the snow mountain. With his second sky of Sky Realm cultivation base, at normal speed, it would take around 7 or 8 days to cross the bitter cold land. If he had used the support from the star brilliance or the electric shift to fly with the max speed, he could shorten the time to 3 or 4 days. However, if he did that, crossing the bitter cold land would cost him 70 to 80% of the profound chi. Getting out of the cave and looking at the fluttering snowflakes and the white mountain flanks, he took a deep breath of cold air before starting to move. All of a sudden, the ice-cold flame sent him a message from the blood vein ring. This place is really cold. Let me out and check. Perhaps I can find something. A white flame flew out from the ring, shooting out of the cave. Chapter 495, Two Beautiful Sisters. Chapter 495, Two Beautiful Sisters. That snow mountain pierced the sky. At first glance, people could see the glistening glacier at the flank of the mountain. Cold brilliance dazzled the eyes, stirring people's minds with a cold feeling. The ice-cold flame seemed to have made some discovery, turning into a beam of light and got into the glacier directly, disappearing in a flash. Shi Yin knew this could be the coldest snow mountain the flame told him about, which could produce the cold chalcedony. Shi Yin flew to that snow mountain while releasing his soul consciousness to sense what was anomalous inside. Eh. Two not too feeble souls showed up behind the mountain. When his soul consciousness got near that area, these two souls reacted, rippling their soul consciousness like a gust of wind blowing on his soul consciousness, making it shiver. It seemed that their soul consciousness was one grade higher than his, as they could make his soul consciousness generate a cold feeling that affected his host's soul, giving him shivers. But Shi Yin wasn't anxious. He retrieved his soul consciousness as his body was swift as an electric current, shooting towards the source of the two soul consciousness. The back of the snow mountain was a shaded area that had never been exposed to sunlight. Snow there was thick like layers of ice. Lying amidst the long snow block was a stream from where cold air emitted. The water there was extremely cold. Surrounding the stream was some sort of plants, around 30 centimeters tall, and brilliant as a crystal. These plants looked roughly 200 years old with the same height. They fanned out, radiating light with a faint aroma. Standing in the middle of these plants were two bright-skinned girls, wearing a snow-white fur coat. They looked like the two snowflakes in the snow mountain, looking at him with unfriendly complexions. These two girls were around 20 years old. Their looks and manners were pretty similar. They should be sisters. Cold air spread out from them. As their physique seemed to have cold attributes, they should be warriors of the Ice Emperor City. They had an extraordinary cultivation base at the third sky of Sky Realm. Who are you? Why do you come to the snow mountain of our Ice Emperor City? The older girl shouted coldly with her ice-cold voice. Are you here to steal the cold heart grass? It's obvious. The other pretty pouted her lips, her face indignant. There's only this mountain in our Ice Emperor City that has more cold-class spirit herbs. People always want to steal them. I'm so sick of it. You aren't cultivating cold-class cultivation method, so why do you need the cold heart grass? Well, it's obvious that you want to sell them, don't you? This pair of beautiful sisters had considered Shi Yin a thief right away. Their manners weren't good, and they had a cold voice. They seemed ready to take action. No, I just crossed this place by chance. I felt your aura, so I came to check. I have no other intention. Shi Yin smiled, relaxing his nerves. I've just crossed through the dark magnetic noxious mist to get here. I haven't met any warrior along the way. I was curious when I found you too. I don't want to steal your spirit herbs. Are you trying to fool us? The little beauty cracked a cold smile from the corner of her mouth, but she still looked naive. People came from the dark magnetic noxious mist had come back 2 years ago. The ones who didn't come back should have died inside the dark mist. It's been so long, and now you say that you walked out of that place. Liar. What do you want? The older beauty said with her cold face. This is the territory of the Ice Emperor City. Even people from the dark magnetic noxious mist have to notify us before they arrive. People from the dark magnetic noxious mist, I've met them all. However, I have no impression of you. Arg. I didn't come to the dark magnetic noxious mist from the Ice Emperor City. Shi Yin shook his head, talking deliberately. I've entered the dark magnetic noxious mist from the Endless Sea. Of course, you haven't met me before. The Endless Sea? The two sisters were surprised and shouted in awe, but he could see the trail of doubt in their eyes. The Ice Emperor City was in the far west of the Divine Great Land, the bitter cold land, the other sea area, and the dark magnetic noxious mist separated it from the Endless Sea. The Ice Emperor City was a force of the Divine Great Land, which was nearest to the Endless Sea. If these two sisters were the citizens of the Ice Emperor City, they should have heard about the Endless Sea. However, they had never heard that people of the Endless Sea could cross the extremely dangerous dark magnetic noxious mist to enter the Divine Great Land. It's true. I'm from the Endless Sea. Shi Yin thought he didn't need to conceal anything. In your eyes, the Endless Sea is a barren place and the warriors of the Endless Sea are barbarians, right? Everybody thinks so. The younger one nodded. Such a rural area can't have any strong warriors. Even the cultivating materials are poor, and the secret treasures are always in a shortage. Of course, you can't have any peak warrior. Well, isn't it true? She was talking naturally and interrogating Shi Yin. No matter how rural the area is, it can always have strong warriors. You could only say that the divine Great Land is much luckier with more strong warriors. Shi Yin frowned and explained to them patiently. He was waiting for the ice-cold flame before continuing his journey. Since he had nothing to do in the meanwhile, a little chit-chat with these two beautiful sisters brought no harm but help him to kill time. Are you from the Endless Sea? The little beauty eyed him. It seemed her curiosity was growing, just like she had just found an ape. Are there more warriors like you in the Endless Sea, who have the Sky Realm cultivation base? Is your hometown very poor? Do people eat human meat there? I heard that the Endless Sea is so uncivilized that many people starve to death. The little girl spoke continually like she was singing and couldn't stop it. In her thoughts, the Endless Sea was a place of barbarians, and people there were living like the ancient times, uncivilized with so strange traditions beyond her comprehension. Shi Yan's face darkened. He finally knew how the people of the divine Great Land thought about other people from other places. These people were born with the feeling of superiority, as they always thought that they were the center of the Grace mainland. For them, people from outside were all barbarians, stupid and weak with all sorts of eccentric traditions. Is it true? The little beauty stopped her questionnaire on seeing Shi Yan's countenance. She studied him with curiosity and then continued. No, it's not. So how is it? Same as you guys. Arg, I don't buy it. Up to you. You stink. An outsider like you who comes to our land should be honest. Don't let others teach you a lesson. Ha ha. All right. The older girl was obviously losing her patience. She interrupted them coldly, waving her hand like she was shooing insects away. Move. Don't linger here. You aren't allowed to stay near this tallest mountain. If we see you again, you won't be able to live comfortably. Shi Yin shrugged, his face faint. Goodbye. Then, he left the place, flying to somewhere not far from there to find a quiet place and wait for the ice-cold flame. According to the ice-cold flame, the cold Chalcedony stayed hidden inside the freezing snow mountain, and even he couldn't enter that place. The cold ice flame had a special shape, along with its especially cold features. Shi Yin believed that if the cold Chalcedony did exist inside the coldest mountain, the ice-cold flame could take it with ease. Thus, he didn't need to join it or be anxious, just waiting for the flame like an outsider waiting for good news. Jejia, do you believe him? After Shi Yin left, the little sister Bing Wei asked while plucking the cold heartgrass with care. I don't care where he comes from as long as he doesn't affect our work here. Bing Cheng frowned. Mei, we should be careful on the way back. I felt something wrong when we came here. Currently, there are some rumors in the city saying that some elder has a close relationship with the Heaven Temple. I'm afraid something bad would happen. I know who. Bing Wei snorted. Should be that woman. Previously, she had left the Ice Emperor, so she could visit the Heaven Temple. She always wanted to replace our adoptive mother to be the host of our city. Well, she's been consistent in her conspiracy for too long. I guess she couldn't hold it now. You are not allowed to say these words. Bing Cheng rolled her eyes. Even our adoptive mother doesn't dare to say that. Don't babble. If she hears it, even our adoptive mother can't protect you. Remember, even if you are indignant, don't show it. No one's here. Why do you need to be so tense? Bing Wei didn't care. She wants to be the master of the city so much that she's crazy now. I didn't expect that she wanted to use the force of the Heaven Temple. That B*T doesn't have any sense of honor indeed. Don't call her B*T. No matter what, she's our senior. Bing Cheng was begrudging. You little girl don't know how to keep your mouth shut. That's why you always cause grudges. If they didn't catch you because of your bad verbal behavior, we wouldn't need to be here to harvest this stupid cold heartgrass. Jejia, sorry. It's my bad you have to be here with me. Bing Wei cocked her head, feeling pitiful. We're sisters, don't say that. You should pay more attention. Bing Cheng mused for a while. You are openly against her. With her habit of bearing grudges, she would trouble you more for sure. It's inconvenient for her to take action against you in the Ice Emperor city, but she knows we will be there for these plants. I'm afraid she would send someone to attack us. Be careful, don't let her men attack us. Our adoptive mother's still in the city. Does she dare? She even wants to replace our mother. What else does she not dare? Sigh. Little girl, you're too naive. The city's complicated now. Our adoptive mother sent us here so that we can avoid the surging tide. Too bad we don't know who has disclosed that we'd be here. There should be her henchmen staying near our mother. Ah, what should we do? We can't do much. Protecting ourselves well will also be a help to her. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.